Salute, guys. Salute. It's just some things within here that just don't make sense to me, man. It's been marinating on my brain all day. Like, man, this just don't make good sense, man. How did this dude manage to run straight past Secret Service, guys? I'm just saying. They also found Cole Allen on the internet, guys. Check this out. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Tech startups got to present to over. College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground.
This
The
is
idea
him,
with
guys. This is him. This is the suspect.
is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation offered a test run on products that have the potential to enrich the lives of seniors. 14 different tech startups got to present to over. College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair
Cole Allen.
emergency
That's
brake.
him.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation offered a test run on products
crazy.
that have the potential to
See where
enrich
I'm
the
at.
lives of
Might not be
seniors.
on the right thing.
14 different tech startups got to present to over. College student Cole Allen
make
developed
sure
a
where I'm
prototype
at.
for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this
I'm on the right one.
is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior
Cole
Services and the
Allen.
Eisner Foundation offered a test run on products that have the potential to enrich the lives of seniors. 14 different tech startups got to present to
That's
over.
most definitely
College
him,
student
guys.
Cole Allen developed
Cole
a prototype
Allen.
for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground.
The
The idea with
alleged
this
White House
is to
assassinator.
prevent it from moving
Or
at all.
Recent
assassin.
Aging into the Future conference held by
assassin.
St.
They got
Barnabas
him
Senior
live, guys.
Services
They
and the
most
Eisner
definitely found
Foundation offered
You
a
know,
test run on
on the
products
internet
that
from
have
a
the
prior
potential to
interview he
enrich
did.
the lives of
Cole
seniors.
Allen, this is him.
14 different tech startups got to present
This is
to
him
over.
right here.
College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
Ain't that
The
something?
wheelchair brakes
Cole
tend to
Allen.
lock the wheels.
That's him right there, guys. That's the suspect that tried to take out the president. Cole Allen. You see his name and everything, guys. He was once on the news. He invented a brake for wheelchairs, guys. Yeah, that's crazy, man. They went in for they gonna find if you out there, they gonna find you.
but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation offered a test run on products that have the potential to enrich the lives of seniors.
It's crazy.
14 different tech startups
Cole
got to present
Allen,
to
guys.
over. College student
Cole
Cole
Allen,
Allen developed
they
a
found
prototype
it.
for a wheelchair
Shout out to-
emergency brake.
Shout out to the internet, man. They most definitely found this guy. This him right here. You know what I'm saying? This is him. This is Cole Allen, guys. This is the guy that stormed that hotel, breezed right past Secret Service like they were standing still, guys. I'm just saying, yeah, managed to run through there without getting hit, not a one time. You know, after he basically shot a Secret Service agent in the chest with a shotgun. Luckily, the agent had his vest.
Wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference
That's
held by
crazy.
St. Barnabas.
That's crazy, guys. Yeah, they got that man in 4K. The internet is undefeated, guys. Most definitely undefeated. A lot of people, you know, are asking the question, guys, is this staged? What was this something really, you know, life-threatening, or was this a show, man? That's what people are saying. The internet is most definitely saying they believe this whole entire situation is staged, guys. Check this out.
quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline.
So this is a reporter that says she was sitting next to Caroline Levitt. Remember, before all of this popped off, Caroline Levitt spoke to the media and basically said that there were going to be gunshots. You know, there was going to be shots fired. And this lady says that she was sitting right next to Caroline Levitt's husband, and it's a reporter, and basically saying that he forewarned Caroline Levitt about what was going on, and then she was cut off the broadcast. Check it out, guys.
Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you did a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some.
She got cut off.
Sounds like we lost Aisha's
That's
phone
crazy.
there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time.
Yeah, she's talking too much.
I did want to add this while we had a moment. I was just reading.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you did a great job. You need to be very safe.
What's up,
and
Ring?
he was just very serious when
Renee?
he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some.
That's crazy. Cut
Sounds
her
like
right
we
off.
lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I did want to add this while we had a moment. I was just.
That's crazy.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was.
All right, so she got cut off mid-sentence, guys. All right, now it's a lot of people, that want to know exactly what happened because a lot of people aren't sure, guys. All right, I found on the news where they was talking about this, and one of the reporters say this is what happened exactly as it happened. When it comes to Cole Allen, his attempt on the president. Check this out.
The night began as it always does, tuxes, gowns, and cocktails. It was Trump's first time attending as president, and primetime was there.
What's the game plan when you get inside?
Well, the game plan is just to sit back and enjoy an amazing evening.
It's going to be great, highly entertaining, classic Trump.
A legendary roast. It's going to be
They
amazing.
cut that part right out. It's going to be very entertaining. If that was Levitt, right here is where she basically said it's going to be shots fired, this, that, and the third, but they cut that part out.
Well, the game plan is just to sit back and enjoy an amazing evening.
It's going to be great, highly entertaining, classic Trump.
A legendary roast. It's going to be amazing.
It may be off the cuff. He's very funny off the cuff. An epic speech, but an epic Duffy night out.
I'm very excited about The Mentalist.
I haven't been here in years, but I couldn't miss this one.
We came to support the greatest president America has ever had, Donald J. Trump.
At 8:15, President Trump entered the
So this is
ballroom
kind of
with
like the
First Lady
timeline,
and
guys.
VP.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and First Lady
They must
Melania
got y'all
Trump.
where y'all. Man, is it anybody out there? Is y'all is somebody tight? Let me know if some people listen. What is going on? Everybody in the bush.
The room was packed, 2,000 in attendance, 12 of the 18 officials in the line of succession. Hundreds of journalists, media executives, and celebrities sitting shoulder to shoulder enjoying the first course, spring peas and burrata. On stage, just after 8:30, a mentalist leaned over the president and First Lady mid-trick, trying to guess Caroline Levitt's baby's name. Then, without warning, pop, pop, pop.
All right, so then we got the gunshots.
An assassin had charged 60 feet through a Secret Service checkpoint.
60 feet. How did he get through there? See, that's the thing that got everybody talking. How did he make it through there without getting popped? He popped the agent and still got out alive.
Reaching the top of a staircase that led to the ballroom. Secret Service moved immediately. Agents jumped on the president, forcing him down.
They did.
The Secret Service grab him, and they're trying to get him to go down, and he's going down, and then they kind of more aggressively get on top of him and bring him down. And the most surreal moments potentially of my life are when President Trump goes down about a foot away from me, and we are side to side staring into each other's eyes, a foot away, looking at each other. And the thought that crosses my mind right then is, oh no, I hope we're not about to die.
Within seconds, President Trump was rushed from the stage. The vice president yanked out of his seat.
J.D. Vance. So this is a play-by-play as it all went.
The hallways outside the ballroom, screaming at people to get low.
Where's it coming from?
A lot of chaos.
Look out! Watch out! Everybody stay down, stay down. Okay, sir. We got one down.
A lot of chaos ensues, guys.
By 8:35, authorities had the shooter in custody. After an exchange of gunfire, one Secret Service agent was shot. He was wearing a vest and is expected to make a
I'm just trying to figure out how he made it through the Secret Service, my guy.
Chairs flipped, glass shattered, and guests hit the floor.
Guests did more than hit the floor. Yeah, and what's crazy is why y'all see everybody scattering, it's people that are stealing. As people are stacked, it's people. Hold on, let me show y'all something. While all of this is going on, right?
Secret Service agents
while all of that is going, give me hold on.
Cabinet members and high-ranking officials.
So while all of this is going on, it's people, that's doing this. They doing this while everybody's scrambling. There's people inside the party doing this. Hold on, this finna come back.
Sitting abandoned on tables. The identity of the wine snatchers are unknown.
Yeah, they were stealing the wine off
whether
the
they were
tables,
regular
guys.
guests or journalists. But the internet seems pretty divided on whether or not this is in poor taste. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. There are videos going absolutely viral of people snatching bottles of wine off of tables at the White House Correspondents' Dinner shortly after the shooting.
They taking the
Since the
booze
shooting
home.
took place fairly early on into the dinner, only the salad course was served, and therefore bottles upon bottles just sitting abandoned on tables.
Yeah, so
the identity of the wine snatchers are unknown. And
so why is chaos and confusion going on inside of that ballroom or whatever? It's people that's stealing the wine, the champagne, whatever, off of the tables, guys, and running out.
It's also unknown whether they were regular guests or journalists.
Some
But the internet
thieves.
seems pretty divided on
Some
whether or
rich
not this is
thieves.
in
What
poor
is going
taste.
on?
So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. There are
One more
videos going
time.
absolutely viral of people snatching bottles of wine off of tables at the White House Correspondents' Dinner shortly after the
It's
shooting.
chaos and
Since the shooting
pandemonium.
took place
They
fairly
steal
early
the
on into the
drinks.
dinner, only the salad
Yeah,
course
they gotta
was
go
served,
home
and
and
therefore
finish.
bottles upon bottles just sitting abandoned on tables. The identity of the
That's
wine snatchers
crazy.
are unknown, and it's also unknown whether they were regular guests or journalists. But the internet seems pretty divided on whether or not this is in poor taste. So
That's
I'm curious to hear what
crazy,
you guys
guys.
think.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that. While that was going on, it was people that were in there snatching liquor off the tables, guys. That is the wildest thing ever to me. But this live stream right here, basically is about what took place, guys. Because I'm really torn. Like, I did a live stream earlier, and I'm really tripping on how this guy was able to, one, fire his weapon at a Secret Service agent, hit him in the chest, right? And the only thing that saved the agent was the vest. But yet he was able to run through there unscathed. Now, Trump reported at first that the gunman was unalive, but we found out that wasn't true. And not only was he not unalive, he was very much alive. He made it through that whole checkpoint without getting hit one time. He done discharged his weapon, fired at an officer, you know, and didn't get hit. Look at all these officers. Look at them. It's a bunch of them. How did he make it through there without getting hit? Can somebody please tell me, please? Any other person would have been unalive running through there like that. But yet he was able to run through there and not get hit, not even one time. And they discharged their weapon at least 5 times, what we heard from the press conference. So if you got all of these officers shooting at you, how do you not get hit? How do you not get hit, guys? Yeah, that part really got me. I've been stuck on that all day. How did he make it? Is somebody, anybody, let me know how he made it. Look at all them officers. I still don't understand it. I still don't understand it. But anyway, let's get back to where we was at. I just wanted to show y'all that. That's crazy. He made it through there unscathed. Yeah, that's crazy. Hold on,
as I was walking
so a play-by-play of as went. This is the timeline. They showing us the video as well. How did he make it through there?
Because I knew there were gunshots. The next thing I knew, I see the gunman. I maybe 3 or 4 feet away shooting, and it looked like he was.
I'm still lost, guys.
At the top, firing bullets, and he had a big gun. I don't know what kind of gun it was, but it was a big gun. And within a few seconds, all of a sudden, a police officer comes running up to me and pushes me down to protect me.
That was Wolf Blitzer, who stepped out to use the men's room and came face to face with the shooter. The president was whisked away to his secure holding area nearby, and he was unharmed.
I guess y'all don't got no answers for me either.
He was recommending
I'm stunned just like y'all.
If it was okay with law enforcement. But shortly after,
ain't no way
White
he was
House
supposed to make it out of there
Correspondents'
unscathed.
President got on stage and made an announcement.
Law enforcement has requested that we leave the premises consistent with protocol. The president will be having a press briefing at the White House in 30 minutes.
Ain't no way he make it out of there unscathed, guys. Come on, let's be real.
And
what's up, my guy,
he
Jalen?
insists that we will reschedule this
I ain't
event
went nowhere, man.
in
I'm
the
still
next
here.
30 days.
An hour later, President Trump posted a picture of the alleged gunman, face down on the carpet, shirtless.
Now, that's another thing.
And
Hold
at
up.
10:30, President.
Now, do y'all know who took that picture? I know who took this picture. Now, I ran across some stuff on IG. I don't know if it's true or not. But according to what I seen, hold on, because I'm gonna show y'all. According to what I seen, it seemed to show somebody familiar taking these pictures. Hold on, let me show y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Hold up. Or took one of the pictures. Check this out. Look at that. You got the president taking pictures of the suspect, guys. You know what I'm saying? And posting them to his Truth Mobile, whatever it is. Yeah, posting it to there. But that's Trump taking the picture. Trump done got down there and took a picture. They said they feel like it's staged, allegedly, for sure. Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying, right. What kind of angle is that? They saying that you saying that's AI. You ain't seen it nowhere else, so it got to be AI. I don't know. I just ran across it. I was like, man, hold on. Yeah, Trump done snapped him a picture of him while they got him on the ground. But y'all saying it's AI. But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I most definitely seen it floating on IG. When can we see the next episode to this movie? They got to be AI for sure. Man, you sure Trump wasn't brave enough once they had him handcuffed and everything to go take a picture of? It ain't like he can get up. He can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? He's subdued. It just looked like something Trump would do to me. Maybe I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it is AI for sure. It had me convinced for a second. I'm like, man, look at that. It's Trump. All right. Let's get back to it, though. I just wanted to know. I was just asking, man. Got to keep y'all on y'all toes. You know what I'm saying? Oh, look. Let's go back to where we was at. All right.
Gunman, face down on the carpet, shirtless. And at 10:30, President Trump and the press gathered in the briefing room in black tie.
Well, thank you very much. That was very unexpected. We very much, and you wanted to too, we very much wanted to continue it because I don't like to let these sick people, these thugs, these horrible people.
Yeah, these criminals.
Change the fabric of our life, change the course of what we do.
Jalen, what's going on with him, guy?
You were there. We held out.
Gotta be AI for sure, man. I'm just saying.
And I understand there was protocol, but we're going to be doing one hopefully within the next 30 days or sooner. And I am ready, willing, and able. And I was all set to really rip it. And I said to my people, this would be the most inappropriate.
Said he was ready to rip it.
If I said, so I'll have to save it. I don't know if I could ever be as rough as I was going to be tonight. I think I'm going to be probably very nice.
The White House Correspondents Association president asked the first question. Listen.
As you mentioned, it all happened so quickly, and I wonder.
So this is the play-by-play of how it all happened, guys. You know what I'm saying? From beginning to where we are now.
In that moment, when you realized there was a threat, and service agents were telling us to get down, can you describe what was going through your mind, how you were feeling in that moment?
That's a very good question. Actually, it's always shocking when something like this happens. Happened to me a little bit, and that never changes. The fact we were sitting right next to each other, First Lady on my right, and I heard a noise and sort of thought it was a tray, but it was a gun.
Yeah, I think this is all about that ballroom, getting that ballroom
really
built.
Understood that pretty quickly. Other people didn't. I was watching to see what was happening. Probably should have gone down even faster.
The president didn't point fingers. He responded with class.
This was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties.
I most definitely watched it while it was happening. That's what got me so many questions, guy. You know what I'm saying? This is so much of we trying to figure out how you feel about it, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like this was staged? A lot of people feel like this entire situation was staged. You know, from the dude making it through there, through the Secret Service. That's one thing that got me. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that got me to Caroline Levitt saying what she said about shots will be fired tonight. And basically her husband warned her right before all of this popped off. And the news reporter was finna tell it and got cut off. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
The fact that they just unified.
It's up to you if you believe it or not.
Totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. We have to resolve our differences. I will say, you had Republicans, Democrats, Independents.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. See, somebody get what I've been stressing this whole time. Yeah, he's still alive after shots was fired. Y'all gotta understand, he fired a shotgun into the chest of a Secret Service agent, and it was about 15 Secret Service men in that hallway after he did it. You know what I'm saying? And he still managed to survive and not be hit one time, and they shot at least 5 times. Come on, man. What?
And progressives.
What they do that at? These are Hollywood. These are professionals.
But maybe they're not. But yet everybody in that room, big crowd, record-setting crowd. There was a record-setting group of people, and there was a tremendous amount of love and coming together.
What exactly went down? CBS.
Here it is again. Look at this.
Staying at the hotel.
He done popped somebody. All of those agents, some of them released. They shot at him. Didn't hit him at all.
Lightly monitored area. Before
look at all them laws.
And rushing towards the ballroom. Because he was staying at the hotel, he got his weapons in when he checked in. A pump-action shotgun, a .38 caliber handgun, and multiple knives. He's been identified as.
You try that if you want to. They gonna knock your top off. I promise. These are the Secret Service is some of the most accurate, you know what I'm saying, shooters on the planet. So you expect me to believe you had like 8, 9 Secret Service officers shooting at you, and you made it out unscathed? Not one hole? Come on, man.
Cole Allen, 31, from Torrance, California. Half black, half white. On paper, had everything going for him. Caltech grad, good school, computer scientist, smart guy. He designed video games, tutored students, was actually named Teacher of the Month 2 years ago. He had an engineering brain. Here he is on ABC back in 2017.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but
this is him. He invented a brake for the wheelchairs. That's Cole Allen right there, the alleged gunman.
He was well educated and liberal. He donated to Kamala last election, attended No Kings rally, and he was a part of a group called the Wide Awakes, crusading against Trump, billionaires, fossil fuels, you know. His sister told police he made radical statements constantly, always talked about doing something.
His sister told on him, guys. His own family told on him. That's cold-blooded.
To fix the issues with today's world. This wasn't a crime of opportunity. It was premeditated. Just like Kavanaugh's wannabe assassin, he traveled across the country to kill.
It was on April 21st that he traveled all the way from the West Coast, from his home near LA. He gets to Chicago on
a
April
train.
23rd.
He took a
and
train.
Has been indicated he arrives in DC on the 24th, and he checks into the hotel at about 3 p.m. He stays overnight. He is very much aware that the president and the first lady entered the ballroom at 8 p.m. And it was at 8:40 that he made a decision to rush the ballroom.
This wasn't like the guy who hammered Pauly P in the head. He didn't live in an old school bus and talk to fairies. He was sober-minded and calculating. Booked the hotel.
Let's take time to
advance,
double tap
tracked the
that screen,
president's
guys. If
schedule,
y'all have not,
arrived
if you're
early,
on a mobile
waited.
device, double tap your
He's not a
screen.
low IQ
Or
lunatic.
click the 3
He's a
dots in the right
left-wing
hand corner.
militant.
Hit that thumbs
He
up,
left a
guys.
manifesto
It helps out the
railing
channel.
against the president. Stuff you hear from Democrats 24/7.
Those who constantly falsely label and slander the president as a fascist, as a threat to democracy, and compare him to Hitler to...
See, well, this is from earlier today. I was finna say, she said shots to be fired.
Political points are fueling this kind of violence. When you read the manifesto of this shooter, ask yourselves, how different is the rhetoric from this almost assassin than what you read on social?
No, I'm not saying I believe anything. I'm asking you, how do you feel about it, Joe? Do you feel like, this wasn't staged? This was most definitely organic, and it was real, and we really need to build that ballroom to protect the president. It's okay for you to feel like that. Opinions are welcome over here. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm asking you, what do you think?
Social media and here in various forums every single day. Much of the manifesto of the would-be assassin is indistinguishable from the words that we hear daily from so many.
CBS, who almost always buries shooters' manifestos, read directly from it to the president's face.
This right here is classic. He told us she was disgraceful.
I think he was referring to you.
Excuse me.
This is a rundown of everything that's been taking place, guys. It started from the beginning all the way to where we are now. Just so y'all know.
Stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I was
these are
never,
the gunman's words.
excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The manifesto makes it clear he wasn't happy with his policies. Not fringe talk. It's what the mainstream media traffics in every day. Hitler, Nazi, fascist, a dictator who's going to end democracy.
He's insecure. He's a wannabe dictator.
He's acting like a king, a despot,
a wannabe dictator.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country
There's a lot
Donald
going
Trump,
on,
and he
guys.
is a fascist to his core.
We are in an era of maximum.
Now they saying that with the Democrats speaking how they be speaking, you know, on Trump, that's what got people want to unalive Trump. You know, them calling him all kind of names and bashing him. You know, I heard Caroline Levitt basically say that as well. You know, they need to watch what they say when they talk about the president. What y'all think about that?
Warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
We're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
But 48 hours after the third attempt on the president's life, Democrats are like, what'd we say?
And you have, as many of your fellow Democrats, have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
Some are even calling Saturday a false flag operation.
I think people jump to that conclusion that it is staged because Trump lies. His lips are moving.
They jump to that conclusion that it's staged. Why? It's a lot of people that feel that way, y'all.
Rhetoric do you have in mind?
Hold on.
Some are even calling Saturday a false flag operation.
I think people jump to that conclusion that it is staged because Trump lies. His lips are moving. The likelihood is he is lying.
You don't want to watch the news about fake assassination attempts or what they're calling an assassination attempt. I think he's forgotten how many times they've attempted this.
It's a lot of people. That's Rosie O'Donnell look like. It's a lot of people that feel like, you know, this whole situation may have been set up, guys, staged. If you have not, double tap that screen if you're on a mobile device. You know, that's how you hit the like button, double tapping the screen, or click those three dots, hit that thumbs up. If you don't mind, guys, it helps out the channel. Let's get the likes up. Double tap that screen and click the three dots in the right-hand corner, hit that thumbs up, guys. A lot of people feeling like this may have been the Trump admin trying to play on America's top. What y'all think about that?
Trump's been almost assassinated 3 times in less than 2 years, all by Democrat donors. The latest gunman even wrote a manifesto telling us who he was going to shoot and why. But basically, the head of the Democratic Party says, who knows why he did it? Barack said this.
What's up, Slick?
Although we don't have yet the details about the motives behind last night's.
Got words from Obama. No, they blame Trump. The Trump and men blame Obama and Sleepy Joe. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden for everything. You hear their name come up at least 6 times when they talk about him, maybe 100.
White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's incumbent upon all of us to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy. Yeah, brave stand, Barack. All violence is bad. Yeah, we know. How many bullets did Barack dodge? No one tried to assassinate him, Biden, Clinton. Bullets are only flying in one direction. Ronald Reagan was shot at the same hotel in '81. They killed Charlie. They shot a hole in Steve Scalise. Rand Paul's neighbor cracked his ribs, tackled him from behind, his own neighbor. They tried to kill Kavanaugh. They firebombed Teslas. BLM burned down entire city blocks. Antifa lays siege to courthouses. Luigi Mangione murdered a healthcare CEO, and the left fell in love. It's not just left-wing violence. There's a fan base for it. 27% of Democrats feel violence against Republicans is justified. 22% of young liberals say they'd be happy if their political opponent died. This isn't a tiny group of people. Large factions on the left are into violence and death, and they're not ashamed of it. But President Trump says he thinks he knows why.
I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most. You take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln. I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this where they got them.
Oh yeah,
but
I'm glad they showed us Cash Patel, guys. I got something I want to show y'all what Cash Patel was doing while all of this was going on. I want to have y'all seen it. You know, well, on the internet, they most definitely are showing what Cash Patel was doing when the shots first started getting fired, when he was off inside of that ballroom, guys. Y'all think he was springing into action to go help, or somewhere cowering behind or under a table like a baby, like ain't nothing even going on. Like he's not even the head of the FBI. Like he's not supposed to be on the front line, out there, with the rest of the agents trying to eliminate the threat, find out what's going on. Cash Patel was hiding under a table, guys. You know what I'm saying? He was hiding under a table. Look at it. Look at Cash. Look at Cash Patel. You supposed to be running around with your service weapon out. You hiding with everybody else. What is going on?
Idea what happened in there?
He's saying he don't know what's going on. What's up, Cash? Come on, Cash.
Sorry.
Why is Cash hiding, dog? Why is he hiding, guys? Why? Why is he hiding? He ain't flying around like it's he just down there casually chilling. He the head of the FBI. He didn't get his script. Man, I don't know what's going on. I'm just saying, a lot of people are saying a lot of things when it comes to the internet, and this footage don't make it any better, guys. So you got Cash Patel hiding up under the table, like he got nothing to do with nothing. Let's get back to it.
The people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way.
Trump's delivered so much change, and he's so ambitious about putting America first, the left's livid that they can't stop him.
What's up, Miss Fat to you? He's covering this girl. Maybe so.
There's no policy. They're not even debating him. They're just hating him. He's dominating the political landscape so forcefully that they can't even wait until he's termed out. So they try to take him out. They get the base all hopped up on hysteria and goose them up and turn them loose. And then when someone tries to take a shot, they'll back off for a week or two, and they'll pick it right back up. The media themselves could have gotten shot Saturday night. They're putting themselves in danger. Maybe that'll be a wake-up call.
Man, I ain't know what was going on.
Be sure
What's
to
up,
like
World's
and
Free
subscribe.
Speech? All right, so just like I've been telling y'all, it's been a lot of speculation online, man. So much speculation. So much speculation that the news had to talk about it. It's just a lot of people don't believe this, guys. They believe, this is staged, man. It's what they want. That's what they saying. They believe this is staged. All right, hold on. Let's go here. But before we get there, let's hear what what Speaker Mike Johnson had to say about all this. Let's go.
In light of this evening's events, I ask that all Americans recommit with their hearts and resolving our difference peacefully. We have to resolve our differences.
And it was a very sad evening in many ways.
More words from
and
Trump.
It was also an evening where a lot of people got together.
So President Trump calling for unity after the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. In various interviews here on Fox.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Including that late Saturday night press conference from the briefing room with his entire cabinet present. The Speaker of the House is now with us, Mike Johnson. And sir, good morning to you. First time we've heard from you. And good to know you're okay. We've got this iconic picture of you going through the back hallway there. Just give us your reflection about your experience on Saturday night, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. It was surreal for everybody involved when the chaos ensued. I was up actually on a platform, that raised platform around the perimeter of that giant ballroom, and I was stuck in a group.
So we get to hear from Mike Johnson, guys, his take.
The gunshots. And the next thing I know, half my security team jumps behind me, comes behind me, rushes up, grabs me by the shoulders and pushes me out the nearest exit door, which is about 6 feet behind us. And that's where you see that photo. We're going down that hallway. The other half of my team went immediately to go grab my wife, Kelly, and get her out of the another door. and we met up about 60 seconds later. They took us to our motorcade, which was in the basement of the hotel, and we just sat in the trucks there and awaited further developments for quite a while. And that was a long while. It was quite a scene. I told the president last night, we talked at length, and I said, I thought your tone was excellent in that press conference right after that event, and the tone that he's had since about that. It is a moment, a sobering moment for the country. We've got to unify, and we've got to handle these things together and recognize we're facing real threats out there. It's a dangerous time. So it's time for us to stand together.
No doubt. If you just heard Carrier Bond talk a moment ago, it's a new world, and we can all admit that. And we're seeing this entirely too often. I do want to emphasize this gunman never got inside the main room. But as we think about that, there are big questions about the security around this president. I want you to listen to a former Secret Service agent who was on.
Yeah, I feel like they most definitely wasn't doing their job. If he didn't even get hit,
new world in which this president
they must have been asleep.
Threats. Listen here.
The threat level against the president has grown exponentially, yet the Secret Service as an agency has refused to accept this and modify the way they do things to account for
Oh yeah, man, no wonder. Guys, I need y'all to take time to double tap that screen. That's how you hit the like button. Let's get the likes up, guys. Hit that like button, double tap the screen of your mobile device, or you can simply click the 3 dots in the right hand corner and hit that thumbs up, guys. Get the likes up if you don't mind. It helps out the channel. Share out the live. Most definitely, I want to know how you feel about it. Do you think that this was staged, or do you think that this was an actual event, and people could have lost their lives? Let me know, in the chat. But most definitely take time to double tap that screen, get the likes up, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new.
The Secret Service should never have brought the president into that building to begin with if they couldn't secure the building. Regardless of how far out that perimeter was extended, the public was already inside the perimeter.
Have they failed at a new imagination, sir?
That's an important admonition there for someone who sounds like they know what they're talking about. I can tell you from a layman's perspective, it did look a little lax in terms of, as everyone's now noted, getting into the building. Now, we all came in, cabinet secretaries, of government officials with their own details. We come in the back, so I didn't see the magnetometers and all that, but it doesn't sound like it was sufficient. Look, this president has now had 3 failed assassination attempts. I have been with him for 2 of those. This can't go on. He's the most attacked, maligned political figure in history. He's very resilient, but he needs greater protection. And I think there's going to be a reevaluation, a very close reevaluation of how we handle these large events. I can tell you the House is doing our job, and our Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has already announced that we're going to have a review and a hearing with Secret Service to see if there's anything that we can do on our part. If it's funding, if it's something else, let us know. I think it's soon. I don't know when they've noticed it.
Okay,
yet,
you say soon. I hope we can nail that down, because when Butler happened in July of 2024, there were hearings within weeks, and there was already talk about getting this bipartisan commission together and figuring out to make sure it doesn't happen again. But here we are, 3 acts in 2 years. Yeah. Will you do that in the House, and will you tell us today how you define soon?
Well, immediately. I mean, this week is, we're hosting the King of England on middle of the week, and we've got some major, we got funding, for example, for Secret Service, ironically, the Department of Homeland Security, which is on the floor this week, because the Democrats have been holding that up, believe it or not, in this heightened threat environment. They're willing to play politics. So we're doing it as quickly as we can. I expect it'll be within the next couple of weeks. And when we had that task force and that working commission to review Butler, they did come out with recommendations. So we'll continue to do what we can in Congress, but we need the leaders, obviously, the Secret Service, to tighten up, and they've got to reevaluate these things. I think that critique was right.
What we do know is that Susie Wiles are going to hold meetings on presidential security this week, and I imagine that cannot come soon enough. I want to share something that a Democratic senator, John Fetterman, shot out hours after this incident on Saturday night. On X, he said, "We were there front and center. That venue wasn't built to accommodate an event with the line of succession for the U.S. government. After witnessing last night, drop the TDS, the Trump Derangement Syndrome, and build the White House ballroom for events exactly like these." Are you hearing enough?
So a lot of people feel like that Trump was doing this to get that ballroom built, guys. What do y'all think?
Tone that Senator Fetterman struck there.
No, he's a rare voice in that camp, and we need more of that. In fact, they've done the opposite. They've incited violence, in my view. I mean, you have some of the most prominent figures in the House and the Senate on the Democrat side, effectively, calling for war. I mean, they use those kinds of metaphors, and it incites violence because there are crazy people in society, and they get radicalized online. And so we've got to recognize that it's time to turn down the rhetoric. We've been saying this over and over, and not use that kind of language. I hope that this will be a sobering reminder for everybody about that very important cause. I'm grateful to Fetterman. He's right. The ballroom will be a solution for this, because it'll be on the most secure compound in the world. It won't have hotel rooms above it, and it'll have 7-inch thick glass, for example, on the windows. So it'll be a very safe environment to do events like this. We need a place. We have needed a place like that, and the president keeps pointing it out.
Last point. You mentioned you got a big week. The King's going to be there. You got a farm bill. You also got a FISA bill that you need to get done within 4 days. Will that happen?
Yep. I hope so. We have more meaningful reforms after the 56 that we did in 2024. The last time we reauthorized this is the most important national security tool that we have. We cannot allow it to go dark.
Speaker Mike Johnson, guys.
National security briefing comes from intelligence that we collect because of this statute. And so this is no time to play games with that. We've got meaningful reforms. We'll put it on the floor. I think it'll pass.
Okay. Sir, thank you for your time. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
All right. So Mike Johnson gave his point of view on how he feels about this entire situation. Okay. So now let's move to the conspiracy theories, guys, and how they're swirling online, guys. It's crazy. A lot of people don't believe this, guys, but they don't. I'm telling you, they say it's staged.
White House Correspondents' Dinner. Social media sleuths tried to answer swirling questions with unfounded conspiracy theories. People across the political spectrum baselessly calling the shooting staged, even as there's nothing to back that up, with authorities instead releasing evidence showing the suspect, Cole Tomas Allen, allegedly storming through security armed, and countless journalists on site for the event working the story in real time. Still, posts containing the term stage now surging on social media, featured in more than 700.
I'm telling y'all, guys, people feel like this isn't real. How did he make it past the Secret Service without getting hit? Not even one time.
1,000 posts since midnight on Sunday, according to data by Tweetbinder.
Just got home from the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's after midnight.
After my own Instagram post directly following the shooting, people flooded my comments with accusations it was all staged, speculating the attack was a stunt to boost the president's ratings. Some of the theories fueled in part by these comments from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt ahead of the dinner.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight.
Some shots fired. Remember, I told y'all earlier when they played it that they had took that part out, but people still got it, guys. People still got it.
Caroline Leavitt ahead of
this
the
was
dinner.
This was before all of it kicked off.
Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
That's what got them going.
It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight.
It'll be some what?
It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight.
Some shots fired tonight.
Be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
The relatively innocuous comment referencing what was to come in the president's speech then went viral after the incident. Today, Leavitt was asked about the proliferation of misinformation, calling it nonsense.
It's very important to us that we get the truth and the facts about this case and any case out there as quickly as possible to dispel some of that crazy nonsense that you do see running rampant online.
Adding to the conspiracy intrigue, a number of Trump allies posted on social media arguing the attack proves why the White House needs a new ballroom, just minutes before the president made a similar point in his press conference.
It's crazy, y'all.
The messaging does not mean the shooting was staged. Ashley St. Clair, a former right-wing influencer who's been recently critical of Trump, did not entertain the idea of a so-called staged incident, but took to TikTok to explain the tweets.
They coordinate their messaging in lockstep via group chat.
The administration did not comment specifically on St. Clair's assertion, but a White House spokesperson tells us, quote, anyone who thinks President Trump staged his own assassination attempts is a complete moron. Conspiracy theories in America
they say,
have been
hey, if you
common
think they
aftershocks
staged this, you
around
crazy.
Political earthquakes. But they seem to
But
be
some people
forming
feel
and
like it's
flying
for that
around the
ball
internet
run.
faster than ever before.
Social media is full of AI fakes, political showmanship, and people are accustomed to being lied to. And so they don't necessarily anymore believe the truth when it's presented to them.
2 years later, there is still a contingent of doubters with unfounded allegations after the assassination attempt against then-candidate Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. The president responding to the quick spread of such theories in a 60 Minutes interview Sunday.
I think they're more sick than they are.
Man, a lot of people don't believe this, guys.
I haven't heard that last night didn't happen. Usually it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Usually they wait about 2 or 3 months to start saying that.
At the moment, it seems like lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are staying above the fray and out of speculation, while some also recognizing how quickly they're popping up. Like when I asked Congressman Jamie Raskin about it just minutes after Saturday night's incident.
This is going to fuel all that stuff.
Fanning the flames online as authorities push forward with the high-stakes investigation.
Julie is joining us now. And Julie, part of this, too, is that there are images that are just not real. They're made up that circulate online. We've seen that in other instances before. There's people purporting to have information that they don't actually have or presenting themselves as somebody who they aren't actually online as well. So it's some of the misinformation stuff that we typically deal with in any political setting that's also coming to light in this instance, too.
Yeah, absolutely, Hallie. You talk about those images, those videos. I didn't really have time to look at my social media while I was standing and reporting out there, but I did very quickly see that fake images of this suspect, when the president had shared the real one, were popping up. For example, him purportedly being with Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States years ago. That was fake. That was
AI out of control, guys.
Another image showing that he had ties to the Israeli Defense Forces. That was also fake. So you could see how quickly this misinformation spreads. One of the things that expert that I talked to, social media disinformation expert, one of the things that he said, Hallie, that we didn't have time to include in the piece is that, look, a generation ago, people were patient. They could wait for the news, right? They could wait to turn on the report the following morning. This time around, social media and the misinformation that spreads fills that void as journalists try to get the facts, and that takes time. Hallie?
We thank you for watching.
It's crazy, guys. So you see that a lot of us ain't the only ones who feel like this situation may not be real. You know, it's other people out there that feel the exact same way that you may feel when it comes to this situation. I'm just saying, it's crazy. It's crazy. Hold on. All right, hold up. Hold on, we ain't done. I gotta see what I'm looking for. All right. Okay. All right, bet. So I know where we are. But as much as we say it ain't, it's still people that say that it is. Let's go.
She's the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Judge, this has been a wild 48 hours for everyone, obviously, including you. You were in that ballroom. Explain how this
She was
case,
part of bringing the charges, guys.
could change, and the charges could change, would be prosecuted differently than the attempted assassination in Florida when Trump was a presidential candidate.
How did he make it through there, guys, without getting
I
hit?
can't speak exactly to what happened in Florida, but what I can tell you is that we have a case right now that has tremendous factual, and right now we're looking into digital presence of this particular defendant. We've got a manifesto that identifies what his intent is. It's very clear what his intent was. It was, as you ran in that little that sound bite, his intent was to kill the president. But more importantly, what we have in this case,
I think so, my guy. I think so, Big Angie.
For days, with the opportunity to think about what he was going to do, carrying weapons across the country and checking into the hotel for 3 days. The amazing thing is that this defendant made a reservation to stay at the Hilton Hotel on April 21st after the president had identified that he was going to be a guest at the Washington Hilton. So everything about what he did, what he said, the guns that he brought with him across state lines, we know they were purchased in California. They were used here in the district in Washington, D.C. I mean, this is a solid case. And we are just at the beginning of this, Laura. It's only 40 48 hours. You know, we're going to find out from our digital examination of what's going on. Did he look at his phone to determine whether or not there were previous assassinations of other presidents? Did he check his phone to find out when the president was actually
Janine
entering the
Pirro,
room, the
guys,
ballroom,
who helped
and
bring
when
some of the
president
charges
was
against
actually
Cole Allen,
sitting
guys,
down
speaking
and
on
they
the
were starting to
situation.
serve the meal? We will know, and we will be able to track everything he did from the moment he made that decision to make the reservation at the Hilton Hotel. And there's a lot more evidence that we need to get. But I can tell you that in the less than 48 hours, the FBI, United States attorneys from my office issuing legal process and warrants across the country are on this case. Yeah. And I'm hopefully, Laura, that for the first time, people will recognize, people who are in that room or in the press now get the sense of how it feels like to be hunted. And the president of the United States should not be an individual who is hunted by these crazy, and they're not crazy in the sense that they're insane.
Yeah, he doesn't seem crazy at all.
He most definitely lost his mind somewhere along the way.
And his brother, according to reports, Gabriel and Adriana, they all seem extremely smart. They all went to top schools or still in school, multiple designations of merit for science and technology, accelerator lab work. I mean, these are smart people. They did not reportedly exhibit any remorse about having to report on their brother, Judge, which was fascinating because the red flags went off for them.
Man, he had
as well
Carl
with
Lewis
what they
in
saw
order to dodge them 5 bullets, man.
What can you tell us about that?
Well, red flags apparently went off with them, but as you say,
make sure you guys are double tapping that screen. Get the likes up. If you're on the mobile device, double tap your screen.
He has a master's degree in engineering.
That's how you hit the like button.
I mean, he was tutoring students. Think of how crazy this is. But what we've got is a society which, for whatever reason, feels it's okay to hate the president. And you and I both know why, because it's been drilled into our society and our culture that he is this horrible human being. No one has stepped up to the plate. And by the way, 3 assassination attempts in 3 years. I mean, no one could withstand that. But what we've got to do now is we will be pursuing this to the full extent of the law. This defendant is facing life in prison at the very least, a mandatory minimum of at least 10 years. And we're just getting started, Laura. Enough of people.
They called him. He didn't get hit. He going to jail. And he left a manifesto telling them how he did it. That's crazy.
Coming to the District of Columbia, thinking that they're going to take out their political violence on the president or members in Congress.
Judge, I was curious about how quickly this was branded a lone wolf situation. Almost that night, he acted alone. That looks sort of.
Yeah.
Was there any interaction that you can tell us about online with others in these freak chat rooms where a lot of these, especially young men, spend a lot of their time? Where anyone was kind of interacting with him about perhaps plans or happy that, he almost was shot or anything like that?
Well, that's the kind of thing that we're going through right now, Laura, that the FBI is absolutely combing. There will be nothing that won't be identified and discovered as it relates to his past actions with this digital footprint.
Jen, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Don't give me the line. I don't know if he's deaf. If he's deaf.
For the presentment.
He didn't sound deaf when he was speaking.
There will be a hearing on Thursday and then another preliminary hearing in May. Make no mistake, this is just the beginning of this indictment, of these charges. The indictment will include a lot more charges. We'll know a lot more. But right now, we have a solid case.
Judge, you and I have talked about this before, but the concern in D.C. about jury nullification. We're going to get into this a little bit more, but these hero cults that exist where people become lionized on the radical left because they took this type of action. We see it with Luigi Mangione. I'm going to get into this later in the show, but are you concerned about your ability to secure a guilty verdict as this moves forward?
That is a great question, Laura, but let me tell you why I think this is different. This is different because there were reporters in that room. This is different because this defendant said in his manifesto, he said, if I have to, I'll kill other people or go through other people to get to the president and the high-level officials from top to bottom. This is different because now all of a sudden you've got 2,500 people who this defendant admitted in his manifesto. If I have to take them
out, the manifesto, guys, we're gonna get into that in a second.
You're correct. The Washington, D.C. in particular has a problem with juries and grand juries, but it's something that we're trying to overcome, and we will with the evidence, with the facts, and with the reality that, hey, there were 2,500 people in that room. Democrats, Republicans, people who like Trump, people who didn't like Trump. It's time for us as a society to recognize this has to stop. And people like this have to be stopped.
Is there anything else you saw in his hotel room that raised an issue with this case or gave you more insight into what perhaps has been going on?
There's a diversity of people here. This is not one of those channels or whatever you're talking about, my guy. We most definitely listen to both sides. We take all opinions in. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know, we're not judging anybody. You know, we just asking a simple question, whether you believe this is real or not. You know what I'm saying? All thoughts are welcome. Just be respectful of other people in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Misspell your cuss words if you get frustrated down there. You know, that's it. That's all.
Well, I think, first of all, there are a couple of things in that hotel room that I'm not going to talk about that I'm just not going to talk about it right now. We're not quite sure whether or not they were his or someone else's. But I think more importantly, when he came charging out, and I saw the video within moments of it happening, because, of course, I was there. You know, when you see him in court, he's a very slight-built man, very thin, very tall, very thin. He had a Mossberg pump action. He had a .38 semi-automatic. He had a bag with 3 knives, all kinds of weapons. This guy was headed and determined to kill people.
He moved fast.
And he moved
like
the
Flash.
Hell,
yeah,
Laura.
How did he do that?
He
moved like the Flash.
He was a
he didn't get hit.
individual.
5 or 6
so,
bullets.
you know,
Didn't even get
whatever
touched.
they may feel about the president, this is on a different level, a different scale. And I think the public should see this differently. Someone willing to kill a lot of people in order to get to the president.
All right, Judge, we're glad you're safe. Thank you for what you're doing.
Said he would have took out a lot of people to get to the president, guys. Make sure you guys are double tapping that screen. Most definitely like the video, guys. All right, so let's get a little bit into this manifesto that he left behind. It's crazy that all of a sudden everybody's leaving a manifesto telling everything that they did, and they just able to go get them, guys. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. Let's go to a little bit more on this manifesto. Let's see what all he wrote off in here. Let's go.
Saturday was supposed to be a joyful evening, celebrating free speech and the First Amendment with all of you, members of the press.
And he's a sick person, a very sick person.
Shots fired. The president rushed off stage, thousands taking cover.
I've been taken out of the main ballroom after the sound of the shots fired.
But before the suspected gunman made his move, the FBI says he sent his family a manifesto.
A manifesto, guys. Done told everything he did.
He's radicalized.
I'm going through the document. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this
Let's get to it. Most definitely, let's go through the documents, guys. Let's find out what was in this manifesto exactly.
I've been using and you verify.
Let's see what they got for us. Law and crime always seem to stick to the paperwork, so a lot of the stuff that they say
a room at the Washington
very
Hilton
credible.
Is packed with the press, politicians, and of course the president. Lots of men with tuxedos and women in fabulous
Let's
dresses.
get them likes up, man. Can we get 100 on the like, man?
Can we get on a night?
Can we get 100 on the like, man? As she's finna break down this manifesto for us, guys. We're probably gonna get a couple of more details than what we got off the regular news by listening to Law and Crime. They be having the paperwork. They probably got a copy of the manifesto, and they about to break it down, man. Double tap that screen, get the likes up. You know what I'm saying? Get the likes up. Continue to double tap. We got more than enough people to have over 100 likes. Double tap that screen, guys, or click the 3 dots in the right hand corner. Hit that thumbs up, guys. You know what I'm saying? Support the channel by hitting the like button. It helps out the channel. So therefore, you know, it's nothing. It costs you nothing to hit the like button. It's free.
Around celebrating the First Amendment. The defendant, Cole Allen, is armed with a 12-gauge pump-action Mossberg shotgun, a .38 semi-automatic handgun, and at least 3 knives, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. He charges a security checkpoint during the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and shots are fired.
And he don't
President
get hit.
Trump
Don't leave that
rushed
out.
off
He didn't
stage.
get hit.
The vice president, cabinet members, and more than 2,500 guests all hit the floor, some just feet from where the gunman was. The FBI says Cole Allen took an Amtrak train from California to Washington, D.C., carrying his weapons with him to try to kill the president
I've been
and
telling
members
y'all
of
that.
the Trump administration. Today, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche held a press conference addressing the narrative that the security team failed.
On Saturday night,
Thank
as
you,
you all
John.
know, an act of violence occurred at a gathering that symbolizes something fundamental to our system of government: the ability of a free press and public officials to come together in celebration and not fear. The act was stopped because of the courage and that horrible act was stopped because of the courage and professionalism of law enforcement. The officers who responded without hesitation and did their jobs as they were trained to do.
Now watch
President
this.
Trump posted surveillance
How
video.
did he make it through here, guys? Agent. Some agents back there. An agent standing right here. Some agents down here. He ran all the way through them. Popped this dude right here. Popped him. Boom. And made it all the way out of frame. And when the front, you'll see a whole bunch of officers come right here. Some of them are discharging their weapons. He did not get hit, not even one time. That's impossible. That's him running right there. He got a whole shotgun in his hand. He didn't get hit not one time.
To Truth Social, where you can actually see
Look at all these officers back here moving around after he popped this one.
the suspect.
Now they all firing shots as he running this way. He didn't get hit not one time. Come on, man.
Running by security.
Come on,
How
man.
quickly it all happened.
Come on, man.
Hesitation.
Come on,
and
man.
Did their jobs as they were trained to do.
You got some of the
President
top
Trump
shotters
posted
in the
surveillance
world.
video to
Some of the best of the best. And he didn't get hit not one time.
Truth Social, where you can actually see the suspect
Come
running
on,
by
man.
security and how quickly it all happened. But here's what you might not know.
Come on, man.
According to Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, the suspect checked into that hotel the day before the event. In fact, according to U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, Allen made his hotel reservation on April 6th, the same day that President Trump announced he would be attending the dinner. And minutes before he made his move, he sent a document to his family that is being referred to as a manifesto.
Now here's the manifesto.
Inside that document, which we obtained, the suspect explained who he was targeting. He wrote that administration officials were, quote, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. He apologized to his parents for lying about why he was leaving town, telling them he had an interview. He apologized to his students for saying he had, quote, a personal emergency, and he gave himself a nickname. He called himself, quote, the friendly federal assassin. This is according to the New York Post. Acting Attorney General Blanche told NBC's Meet the Press that it appears the suspect set out to target members of the administration, likely including the president. But there is a lot more in this manifesto and a lot more we are learning about the man police say is behind it.
Let's
Today,
go.
Allen made his first appearance in federal court. He's facing 3 counts. Count 1, attempted assassination of the President of the United States, punishable by up to life in prison. Count 2, interstate transportation of a firearm to commit a felony. That's up to 10 years if convicted. And count 3, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, which carries a mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison, consecutive to any other sentence.
What's up,
U.S.
Shay?
Attorney Jeanine Pirro says additional charges are expected as the
So he's gonna get more charges, but right now the most serious carries life imprisonment, guys. They most definitely hit him with attempt to assassinate the president of the United States, transportation of a firearm and ammunition in the interstate, commerce with intent to commit a felony, discharging of a firearm during a crime of violence, guys. Yeah, he might as well get his bed ready. He ain't going nowhere. And he wrote a manifesto. It's over with.
investigation continues. And on that note, let's go back to the same press conference. U.S. Attorney Pirro laid out the charges and then read directly from the suspect's own manifesto.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Cole Allen's journey of accountability in the criminal justice system starts today. Todd Blanche just indicated to you the charges. Those charges are only 3 charges that are in the complaint that has been presented in federal district court about an hour ago. There will be additional charges as this investigation continues to unfold. But make no mistake, this was an attempted assassination of the President of the United States, with the defendant making clear what his intent was. And that intent was to bring down as many of the high-ranking cabinet officials as he could. Now, the manifesto also makes clear about his expected rules of engagement. You know, you can look at it and read it, and it may seem kind of la, but at the end, make no mistake, he says, I am targeting the administration officials. They are my targets, and I'm prioritizing from the top down, the highest ranking from the lowest.
The White House Correspondents' Dinner was taking place at the Washington Hilton on Saturday,
They still
April
saying
25th,
stage.
and this is an annual event.
They
Journalists,
feel like it's
politicians,
staged.
celebrities, members of whichever administration occupies the White House at that time are all there. According to the Metropolitan Police Department, at around 8:36 p.m., a man rushed a security checkpoint in the lobby of the hotel. Police identified him as 31-year-old Cole Tomas Allen from Torrance, California. Acting Attorney General Blanche said Allen was armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives.
And some
He
knives.
allegedly exchanged
And still
gunfire
made it
with
through
Secret
there, guys.
Service agents. A Secret Service agent was actually shot, but according to officials, his bulletproof vest saved him. Janine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, was inside the ballroom when the shots were fired.
I'm at the Washington Hilton. I've been taken out of the main ballroom after the sound of the shots fired. The Secret Service is now in charge of this building, this hotel. I just spoke to Mayor Muriel Bowser. She is on her way.
That's what they calling it, a
Chief
false
Justice
flag.
Carroll is on his way. He will be in charge as soon as he gets here.
Now, as I mentioned, President Trump was rushed off the stage. Let me play you a little bit of what he said later that night when he briefed reporters at the White House.
This was an event dedicated to freedom of speech that was supposed to bring together members of both parties with members of the press. And in a certain way it did, because the fact that they just unified, I saw a room that was just totally unified. It was in one way very beautiful, a very beautiful thing to see. A man charged a security checkpoint armed with multiple weapons, and he was taken down by some very brave members of Secret Service, and they acted very quickly. And he's a sick person, a very sick person, and we don't want things like this to happen.
The next day, President Trump sat down with 60 Minutes and he talked more about the suspect.
It sounded to me, I read a manifesto. He's radicalized. He was a Christian. His family was very concerned. He was probably a pretty sick guy.
According to law enforcement officials who spoke with NBC News, Allen's family was worried. They say Allen's brother received the note and contacted law enforcement. His sister told investigators he had a pattern of making radical statements. And this so-called manifesto appears to tell a more complicated story, which we'll get into in a moment. But here is what the president said about some of it.
I expected security cameras.
Now, hold on. Let's stop right there. Let's go here real quick, guys. To some more of these type conspiracy thinking where people is saying it says it's false flag, guys. This false flagging situation. Check this out. Hold on. Yeah, I told y'all it's running rampant. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere on the internet, guys. Everybody has a theory about what's going on here. They call this one, it says CIA cuts all reporters mention pre-planned evidence of false flag. Watch till end.
On TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, you know, there are some.
And then they cut the mic cuts. The But they
Sounds like we
also got
lost
something else. Just
Aisha's
hold on.
phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I did want to add this. While we had a moment, I was just reading.
Now look at this. Trump don't even know what's going on, guys. They have to come get him. They say he's smiling. He's smiling about it. Look at the smirk. Then they bring up the point that says Secret Service moves out of the way for the attacker. Maybe that's why he didn't get hit. It's crazy. It makes you wonder. Then they got the suspect. I don't know if this is AI or not, but they got the suspect right here. And it says Israel Defense Forces is allegedly what's supposed to be on his shirt, guys. It says attacker wearing what looks like IDF uniform. Here, let's blow it up for y'all so y'all can see it. What y'all think about it, man? You know what I'm saying? What y'all think about it?
He kind of leaned over and said,
I just thought that was crazy. I just wanted y'all to see that. It's a lot of people that ain't believing what's going on. That's it. That's all. You know what I'm saying? They don't believe, what's going on. So, it's most definitely floating out there online. I think the part with the shirt was crazy, but that could have been AI. But I'm just showing y'all what I'm seeing. But let's get back to them breaking down this manifesto, guys.
At every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got is nothing. He wrote, like, this level of incompetence is insane. Sir, you have already had two.
Well, he was pretty incompetent too because he got caught, and he got caught pretty easily. So I'd say he was pretty incompetent too.
President Trump calls him incompetent, but the man who police say wrote this, he would not agree. Because here's the thing. This is not just a few scrawled notes on a napkin. According to police, this is a 1,052-word document sent to his family about 10 minutes before he is accused of charging that checkpoint. The email was scheduled to send automatically. It read, I wish I could have said anything earlier, but doing so would have made none of this possible. My sincerest apologies for all the trouble I've caused. Hello, everybody.
9 more likes, guys. Double tap that screen. Get the likes up.
Then come the apologies. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. He then apologizes to his students for saying he had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do not need to go to
this
the
is
ER,
from the
call
manifesto,
that not
guys.
A self-inflicted status. Then the reason. He wrote, I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me, and I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Allen did not name President Trump, but according to the document, he said administration officials were his targets, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. He then lists out what he calls rebuttals to objections, anticipating one of them being, as a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. His response, turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed, turning the other cheek.
So this is from the manifesto, guys. I haven't seen this anywhere else where they broke it down. They only gave us little pointers, little points here and there, but they most definitely went through it, guys. Get the whole 1,000-word manifesto.
When someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes.
So
then
this is what Allen wrote.
Post, he wrote, I expected security cameras at every bend, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got is nothing. He said if he had been an Iranian agent, he could have brought a machine gun and no one would have noticed. Then he signed off. Sincerely, Cole, Cold Force, friendly federal assassin.
Allen. Wow.
That is what police
That is
say
the
he
manifesto,
wrote.
guys.
Now, who is this suspect, Cole Allen? According to his LinkedIn page, he has a master's degree in computer science from California State University, Dominguez Hills, and a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Caltech. That's a really good school. In 2024, he was honored by C2 Education of Torrance, California, as the Teacher of the Month in December. He sounds like a pretty smart guy. His LinkedIn page even claims he was a summer research fellow at NASA back in 2014. He worked as a tutor. He designed a video game called Boredom that was released on the platform Steam in 2018. And in 2024, he
crazy,
donated
but he's smart.
$25 to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. So let's break down this
They make that a point to say he donated $25 to Kamala Harris
manifesto and try to dissect it a little bit. I want to bring in Ashton Pack. He is a private investigator and also a retired detective sergeant in Las Vegas. So
we need the
so much,
likes up
Ashton,
past
for
100,
coming
guys.
on. I really
Double tap that
appreciate
screen
it.
if you don't mind.
You've read through the manifesto. I've read through it, and there are some things that I know really stand out to you. So tell me what stands out to you in this document.
Well, thanks for having me. And yeah, so reading through this manifesto, you have this kind of what we were trained in law enforcement for the threat evaluation, threat assessment world that a lot of law enforcement detectives now work in. A lot of grievance collection. You're kind of your classic grievance collector. And again, like, I tell people all across the country, adults across this country from basically teenage years up until the elderly, we all have grievances. We're all upset about something. We don't like the direction. For the most part, something in the country and the politics is bothering us. But the vast majority of us are able to cope with those grievances and kind of get up the next day and go to work because we have bills to pay and families to support. But here what we see is what appears to me to be almost a mental illness mixed with grievance collector, maybe a little bit of a savior complex, like I'm going to fix this, I'm going to right this wrong, and maybe trying to be a little bit of a martyr. So I see a lot of like these underlying tones within this manifesto.
And I see the martyr thing too. This is written in a tone where basically it sounds like he thinks he's going to be killed carrying out this mission that he's gone on.
Yeah, and I know he was shocked that he wasn't. He wrote that manifesto because he thought he was going to be unalive, but he wound up making it out unscathed. That's crazy. I don't see how he shot the agent and still didn't catch not one bullet. That's just beyond me.
And just the tone of it, where he's apologizing to everybody. He thinks he's dead, as people or will be dead soon as they're reading this.
Yeah, and so it's kind of this glamorous ability to go out where everyone knows your name. And so that's the scary part of these attacks, where folks, I think they do have these ideas that they no longer want to live, which is an unfortunate, that's an unfortunate feeling if folks are dealing with those beliefs. But when you throw in a little radicalization, maybe via the internet or via social media, or just the propaganda that we're kind of exposed to every day in this country, the nonstop just barrage of constant information, which our brains are never evolved to handle all this, this constant Twitter feed or X feed, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, you throw in a radicalization process, you're collecting these grievances, and the path of violence maybe is via the fact that he didn't want to survive.
He starts out by apologizing to everybody. He says, I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for, quote, most wanted. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all of the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handled my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. So this was very well thought out. He's apologizing to people, but I mean, thank God the Secret Service agents were able to tackle this guy, and that more people other than the one Secret Service agent weren't hurt. He was hit, but his Kevlar protected him.
He made it out by the skin of his teeth.
And he talks about why he did this. He's a citizen.
I can't believe that the suspect is still alive.
And what my representatives do reflects on me. And he talks about, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I've had to do something about it. And he talks about how administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, Kash Patel, the FBI director, are basically his target. that he says they are prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. So he was going there to take out everybody in the administration. Why is Kash Patel not included on that list? Like, what do you think is going on there?
And nobody, he went there with the intent to do all that, and nobody got hurt.
He does apologize for what he says he's going to do, but then he has no qualms with opening fire on.
Nobody got hurt, but
assuming is the uniform division of the United States Secret Service. Who, and thank God for modern body armor, saved that agent's life. So there's talk and there's action. I think he had murderous intent in his heart, and maybe he's trying to save face with his parents. So you have some mental illness issues here, and that's very unfortunate. And as a father with kids in their 20s, yes, as we get older as parents, I find that the problems are very real now, unlike when they were little.
I don't know exactly how many rounds he had, my guy.
These parents,
but I know he had a shotgun
who were in
and
his
a
family and in
handgun.
his life. But that doesn't justify the actions to address. I've seen some ridicule of the Secret Service.
Could it be blank?
In this
Tell
event.
me, how did he
and
make
I'm
it through
just
there?
scratching my head because
I'm
at the end of
scratching
the
my
day, the
head too.
President of
How
the
did he
United
make it
States,
through there?
whether you love him or you don't love him at all, he has to leave the White House. He has to go to events. He's the leader. The office is the leader of the free world. Whether you like who's in it or not is beside the point. And so Secret Service, and I worked with Secret Service multiple times throughout my career in law enforcement. They put overlapping rings of security around the event. They work with local police. They work with other federal law enforcement that are going to be there protecting other dignitaries and VIP members of the crowd and those in attendance. So I just don't know what else they're supposed to do to mitigate. We don't have precogs yet. We don't have a future crimes unit. I know AI is coming, and it's going to be some powerful technology. But how do you know the intents of hearts and minds of men and their intent? You just don't. He walked in. He says he walked into this hotel with guns. Well, he didn't have his guns out. People go into hotels with luggage. So if you walk into a hotel with luggage and you happen to have firearms in the luggage, people aren't psychics. We don't have crystal balls issued at the front desks of the Hilton. And we just presume that folks in a hotel are there to stay in the hotel as guests of the hotel. So, and I just see he's rambling. I think we have a lot of mental illness going on here.
Sure.
I think, a radicalization process that kind of gripped this young man. He was for all intents and
No,
purposes,
they
he
didn't.
was
Nobody
modest.
got
He's a
injured.
teacher. He's been given awards. He's
None
not
of the Secret Service men got hit in the chest, my guy. But he had on a vest, so he was fine. They fired like 4 shots after the gunman fired his shot, which hit the Secret Service. And the Secret Service fired like 4 more shots after that as he was running. Now one of them hit him. He wound up getting tackled. Come on, man.
Database. He's not a person. There's no crazy database. I always tell folks. So
Yeah.
it's not like the TV where you plug someone's name in and everything pops up. We do not live in a police state, and despite popular opinion, if you had a criminal history, I'm sure the Secret Service ran everyone staying in the hotel who was a guest of the hotel. It's a national security issue to the President of the United States in proximity to him. But if you're a teacher and you're not, and you have free speech, if you say, I don't like this guy, all right, you go to a Kings protest, you don't get stuck in a database.
That's a coincidence. All right,
we still have a right to our constitutional protected activity. So.
Yeah, and as far as the Secret Service goes, he said they are
Maybe
targets
so.
only if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible, aka I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. He then says something about hotel targets or hotel security rather are not targets if at all possible unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police, same as hotel security. National Guard, same as hotel security. Hotel employees, not targets at all. Guests, not targets at all. Wow. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using
This is from the manifesto, guys.
Less penetration through walls. He really thought this out. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. And then he goes through a bunch of rebuttals to objections, something about turning the other cheek. And then he thanks his family, both personal and church, for their love over the last 31 years. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many
That's what
years.
I was
Thank you to
saying,
my
John.
colleagues
How
over
did
many
they not
jobs for your
hit him? He should have
positivity and
been
professionalism.
full of hoes.
Thank you to my students for your
Shot
enthusiasm
an
and
agent.
love of learning. And he signs it, Cole Cold Force Friendly Federal Assassin Allen. I mean, it's just, I think you're right. Mental illness, radicalization, likely online. What are your thoughts about the signature there?
Well, everything he's saying there is minimalization and justification of his actions. He's minimizing, I'm going to use buckshot instead. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but buckshot, 12 gauge buckshot, is law enforcement carries it for a reason. And okay, you didn't want to over penetrate the walls, but he's trying to minimize and justify. Like, I don't want to have to kill cops, but I will if they get in my way. Well, everyone there with a badge and a gun is going to shoot back. That's how this
And the y'all didn't hit
game
nothing.
plays, as observed, and as observed on all the previous attempts to breach the perimeter to get at this administration.
Come on.
And this is where I keep telling, especially young folks who are so frustrated with the system, and it's as hard as it is to hear this, but the revolution is every 2 years in the federal voting booth. You've got midterms
Just ran
coming
straight
up here
through there. Boom, gone.
in a couple.
They firing.
come
Boom, boom,
November.
boom, boom, boom. Ain't now
You have
one
a
of
chance
these.
to change the world come November.
What's up, Lovey?
It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes work. Going down and volunteering for the person who's running against the person you don't like takes energy and time.
Yeah, but you got a suspect that close, and you fire 4 shots, and don't hit him with now. Come on, man. You are trained. You trained. That's the Secret Service we talking about. Come on now.
And it's selfless. You're not out in the limelight. You're not doing Instagram reels about look at me, look.
They
at
can
me,
hit a quarter
like
in
a
the
mother.
apple, guy. Come on, be for real.
Democracy it's tedious work. It's hard to get out there and support a person who's best in line with your political beliefs. It's a lot easier to do something like this and get your name on every headline of every paper and every website in the country and the world.
And then I think like this too. He was running through there with a loaded weapon that he used. He used it on one of the Secret Service people, right? Hit him in the chest. The only thing saved him was the vest. And then they returned, the other ones returned fire. And you mean to tell me he didn't get hit? Come on, man. Come on, man. Back to where I was at earlier, because we got paused while we were listening to the debate, guys. Chris Morgan most definitely had a debate on what was going on, with his panel, where they talked about, some people felt like it was staged, other people felt like it was real. Let's get into that, guys. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all double tapping that screen if you have not. I'm still trying to figure out how did Allen, Cole Allen, that is, make it through the Secret Service, after popping one of the Secret Service guards and make it out unscathed. Didn't get hit not one time.
Lamont Hill, the most staggering thing to me. Well, 1 second, Judge, I'll come back to you. But Lamont Hill, one thing that immediately began to happen were an extraordinary number of people on social media immediately saying this was fake, it was a false flag operation, it was staged, people just repeating the word stage. I think JoJo alluded to this in some of her social media posts. I mean, surely you don't think that anything that happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was set up or staged, do you?
That's an interesting question. I don't think that it was staged, but
Pierce said what? Pierce acted like he thought it was staged. Dude said, I don't think it was staged. He said, I don't think. Pierce said what? Like he wanted him to say it was staged.
I don't think that it was staged, but I said I don't think it was staged. You really that outraged by that? You don't agree? You think it was?
What's the interesting part of the question? Surely the only
I answered the question. I said I don't think it was. I just said I don't think it was staged. That's the only sentence I said. Why are you all responding as if I said the opposite? My only sentence
your first
was I
response
do
was to
not
say
think
that's
it was
an interesting
staged.
question. Your first response was that's an interesting question.
Because it is an interesting question. I'm complimenting you on the question. You're the one that asked it. If you don't think it's interesting, why would you ask it? I think you all were prepared for me to say one thing and I didn't, and so you're jumping as if I said something different. Everyone up here thinks it was not staged. I, Mark Lamont Hill, agree with you all that it was not staged. Now allow me to continue. I understand that the American people, many people in the American public, and really around the world, have a penchant for conspiracy theories. I am not a conspiracy theorist, so it would take a lot for me to get to that point. I do understand.
Say he's not a conspiracy theorist, guys.
Why many people would question the security. They would question how this shooter was able to get such great access.
Yeah, how did he get through that?
Participated in a White House correspondence dinner in a long time. You knew he was going to show up, and to Carrie Lake's point, you know, a lot of people in the media don't like him. You know, a lot of people in the public don't like him. There's a reason why, if this isn't staged, why 3 people tried to shoot him. So if you know that, you would expect the response to be different from security. So I think the reason why many people, which is why I think it's interesting, why many people are skeptical of this it's not as unfounded as faking the moon landing, which is absurd, or saying the earth is flat, which is absurd. I think it's because of the lack of security and the consistency with which one of the most unpopular presidents in recent memory, at least one of the most polarizing presidents in recent memory, continues to get shot at with not enough security. I think that's why people are asking it.
Okay, Jojo, for the record, do you believe any of that was staged on Saturday?
I don't think anything was staged. I think we should ask questions. I think that we should ask questions in every one of these cases. I think that that's a reasonable, rational position to take. Unfortunately, the commentary really here is, why is it that so many people, not just in this country, but around the world, are saying things like
that's what they saying?
I think that that's something that we should be considering. What is it about this person, about this administration, about these breaches in security, about these unanswered questions, of which we have many? I am also not a conspiracy theorist, but we have a lot of unanswered questions, not just about what happened the other day. And also, by the way, Jack, to your point, I was in DC and I had friends there as well. I was at the Substack party at the very same time. We went on lockdown. It felt very real and very scary. But I think we should have a conversation about the questions that we have about all of this stuff. I mean, we still don't know, that we didn't get a statement from the actual doctor in Butler. We have a lot of outstanding questions related to the shooter in Butler. We have outstanding questions to Charlie Kirk's shooter. These are questions we should ask. Unfortunately, it's really kind of, again, it's a real commentary on where we are as a country and as a world right now, that we can't necessarily trust at face value what this administration is telling us, and particularly as it pertains to Donald Trump's health and safety. Yes, and I think that it would be it's incumbent upon all of us to ask these questions. Also, Jack, I'm sorry, but to draw the line between Jimmy Kimmel's comedic routine and the natural progression, which is what you said, the logical progression of listening to a comedian and then traveling across the country with firearms to murder members of Donald Trump's cabinet, it is absolutely on its face insane.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question. The right to free speech all the time. I just
let me ask you a question to respond. So do you
finish the point and then you can.
You finish your point. Do you remember in 2024 when you called for Joe Biden to nullify the 2024 election?
What are you talking about? We're talking about the shooting right now.
Do you remember in 2024 when you called for Joe Biden to nullify the results?
We got some old beef.
And you said that he would be totally. I'm not actually. Do you remember that? Yes or no?
We're not. Why do you always bring up Joe Biden? You're like a broken record. Joe Biden. Who's the president now? Why do you guys always come on here and talk about Joe Biden? Why are we talking about Joe Biden?
Let's go.
You said, did I incite someone to go with a firearm across the country and try to kill people and allegedly try to kill people in Trump's cabinet?
Because the killer shared your post calling to nullify the results of the 2024 election.
So Cole shared her.
She's sharing her. Are you trying to
Cole Allen shared her tweet.
Are you
Jack,
be very fucking careful right now, asshole. Are you trying to insinuate? Excuse me. If you are trying to draw a line between me and what happened,
I'm not drawing a line. He drew the line.
Then what you just said is extremely irresponsible. So what?
He decided to take your words into action.
Okay, how many times have you retweeted? How many times have you shared Donald Trump's rhetoric?
Here's, I'm happy to send you this, by the way.
How many times
it's right
have
here,
you
November
retweeted
13th,
something that Donald Trump said?
Okay, don't talk over each other.
He decided to
Boy, that was a
nullify the
really
election,
lofty,
just
that
like
was
you
a,
asked him
that was
to.
a hefty accusation that he just lobbied at me. I have
Not an accusation. I have that right here.
That has nothing to do with me, Jack. You're trying to tie me
Your post
to
has
someone
nothing
who
to do with you?
allegedly tried to kill. Excuse me.
What
So
do you
you're
mean alleged?
telling
What's alleged about it?
What's alleged? It's not the case is not closed. It hasn't gone to trial. You have
The
to
case
say
is not
alleged.
closed. What else
Oh,
do you?
you're a
What else
judge
do you
and
need?
jury? Are you a judge and jury? Are you?
No, I'm looking at the evidence.
Really?
We have evidence. We have his own family. We have him on video. We have eyewitnesses that I've spoken to.
We live in a
Wolf Blitzer.
country of law and order, Jack. We have to say
Yeah, but you can still
allegedly,
look at
just like
evidence.
we have to say
He took it
Donald
way
Trump
off
allegedly
point.
raped a
Point to
13-year-old
something
girl.
else.
Just like
So you
we
don't
have to
accept the
say
evidence.
Donald Trump was allegedly
Cheers,
introduced
this is
to
what they do.
Melania
They don't
Trump.
accept the evidence. They don't accept the actions of their own
You're not a
followers. They don't
judge. You're
accept
not
the
a jury.
consequences
Do
of
you
their own
want to live in a
actions.
country of law and order or not?
Okay, please
The
don't.
point,
All right, listen.
Jack.
All right.
Can I
Don't
jump into
talk.
this for a
Please don't
second?
talk over each other, because I can tell you. Hang on. I can just tell you, if you all talk over each other, nobody at home can hear. Let me bring in Brandon. He's been waiting.
He
I have to
took
say,
it way
respectfully,
somewhere else.
patiently, and silently. Brandon, it seems to me a stain on everyone's houses. There's been increasingly incendiary rhetoric in American political discourse now for many years from the left and the right. You know, everyone is culpable in this area, I think. I think it's disingenuous of people on the right to say it's just the crazy lefties. I think it's disingenuous of people on the left to deny they're doing it and then to pretend that none of their side do it. Everyone's been doing this. The rhetoric's got increasingly unpleasant, nasty, violent, fractious, divisive, polarizing, and inevitably, in a country with over 400 million weapons, firearms, you're going to get unhinged people who take it in their own hands to exact their warped form of justice, which is they think, oh, well, this guy's the new Hitler. I've got to try and kill him. They're all Hitler. They're all Nazis. We've got to kill them. You know, I understand the warped mindset. If you keep being told someone's Hitler, then eventually you're going to take out Hitler as a public service.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point. I'll push back on another point, but I do think people need to slow down this rhetoric. Saying all this inflammatory stuff online is just nonsensical. You know, I criticize Trump for saying crazy stuff every now and again. And I don't think he should do it. I think it's a waste of time going after private citizens. You know, you're above that as the president, in my personal opinion. Do I think that's a direct correlation to somebody trying to kill him? No, I think the most correlation or the connectivity of that is the mainstream media saying it's Hitler every day. And these nut jobs
They got
acting
all
like
off
the dude
topic.
is doing something he's not doing. I mean, said he was a racist today, ran out of oxygen saying that. Then they comparing to Hitler. Then they said he's a king. He's a dictator. I mean, these are the most deranged things that you could say about anybody. And of course, these nut jobs are going to try to posture up and want to kill him. And I don't know why we can't acknowledge that. I can say on one side, I want Trump and Republicans to slow down on what they're doing, but the mainstream media have a higher responsibility because they're out putting information out 24/7, 7 days a week, and it's all inflammatory against President Donald Trump, and is wrong.
Didn't J.D. Vance?
Okay, let me bring in.
That's
All right, let me bring in Mark Lamont Hill here. Mark Lamont Hill, there was a part of the interview with 60 Minutes last night where Donald Trump was told that this shooter had been part of a No Kings event, and Trump linked it to the scandal involving the Southern Poverty Law Center. Let's take a look.
I see these No Kings, which are funded just like the Southern Law was funded. You saw all that. Southern Law is financing the KKK and lots of other radical, terrible groups. And then they go out and they say, oh, we've got to stop the KKK. And yet they give them hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars.
They were
It's a total scam run by the Democrats.
Now, he's referring, of course, to the Southern Poverty Law Center and this revelation that they paid out millions of pounds to what they claim were informants within these very dangerous and violent groups. First of all, on that scandal, do you believe there's validity to the way that the right are treating this story, that it's outrageous, unacceptable, it should have been transparent and so on? Or do you accept, I guess, what the argument would be the same argument in its defense that people might use about the FBI who pay informants in gangs and so on, or in the mafia, whatever it may be. Do you see that as the same thing, or do you see it as problematic?
I'm not going to pick either or between those options. I think we have to have a more sophisticated answer. I think there should be transparency. I agree with the right that there should be transparency. For example, the SPLC should be saying, hey, we pay informants, right? No one is surprised when the FBI pays a mob informant because we know. So as long as the transparency is there, I don't have an issue with it. Similarly, though, I'm not going to reject the Southern Poverty Law Center's claim that their money goes to informants within the KKK. I don't think they're funding the KKK. I think they're funding informants as a way of dismantling the KKK. Now, we can have debates about whether that's the best strategy or not, but I do accept that as a legitimate strategy, even if I don't think it's the best strategy. We should talk through that. Right now, what we need is more transparency. We need a deeper investigation from an outside body to make sure that that is in fact the case.
I need to know how you didn't
I
get
don't
hit.
accept this
That's what I
right-wing
need to
narrative
know.
that they're funding the KKK. Also, just in response quickly to the other things that were said, first to the Jimmy Kimmel point, I was one of the people that thought the joke was funny. I like dark humor. If that joke had been made after the shooting, I think it would be unacceptable. I think it would be in bad taste, and I would understand why Melania Trump would be calling for Jimmy Kimmel's head
It
or
is
for his
after
job,
shooting.
to be specific.
But Mark, it is after shooting.
How many more shootings do we need?
It's after
Mark?
two
How
other.
many more shootings do we
after a
want?
shooting attempt on his life.
How many more dead
He
conservatives
already
do we
got.
need
He
for it
almost
to
got
count?
killed.
Okay. Actually, if you guys have such a
Throughout this
problem
interview,
with political violence,
can we just hold on, please? I respectfully listen to everyone, and every time I've spoken, I've been interrupted. I just want to make the point, and then you all can respond, and we can have a conversation. My point is, the premise of the joke with Melania Trump is that she doesn't like him, and that he is old, and that he is dying. If that joke had been made to Jill Biden, I would be laughing. Why? Because Joe Biden was old. He was a president. He shouldn't have been in office. He was dying. He was Weekend at Bernie's. We all have the jokes, right? How many times was Joe Biden called Weekend at Bernie's? It was funny because of the premise. That is why I like the joke. I'm not telling you all you have to like the joke. I'm just saying that I understand the logic of the joke. The joke wasn't to invite murder. That's all I'm saying. And if we want a country that values free speech, we have to hold space for that. As far as the climate here, yes, we do live in a climate that is volatile, and where we say things that lead to action. But every time we criticize Donald Trump for excessive executive orders, and yes, Democrats did it too. Every time we criticize Trump for moving without congressional approval, every time we move Trump for fighting unjust wars or prosecuting unjust wars, yes, he's moving like a monarch. And yes, we're going to have marches. Yes, we're going to have criticisms. Yes, we're going to have takes that call him a king. And yes, when he wants to commit.
Did y'all hear what Jimmy Kimmel said, guys? Did y'all hear the actual audio of what he said? Here, I'm going to let y'all see exactly what Jimmy Kimmel said. They got him in so much hot water, guys.
Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
This is what caused all the
First Lady
controversy.
Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow. Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
That's the
Our
joke,
First Lady
guys.
Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
You have a glow like an expectant widow, guys. That's what he said. You know, and it was Jimmy Kimmel, man, and he got a lot of flack for that, a lot of blowback about making that joke. A lot didn't think it was funny.
Or not commit, but aid and fund genocides in other countries. Yes, we have a right to compare him to despotic leaders throughout history. I don't use the Hitler comparison. I don't. But there are comparisons that can be made. And when something awful happens, instead of saying maybe people want to kill him because he keeps killing people, we say maybe people want to kill him because people call him a killer. That's, to me, that is the most ridiculous he who smelt it dealt it logic I've ever heard.
Let me just say this, Mark Lamont Hill, the reason that I jumped in there because you said this would be distasteful if it happened after a shooting. Well, they did shoot him. And Donald Trump almost got killed before. And then it was 2 other assassination attempts. And so when you have assassination attempts that have already occurred, one in which he almost got killed, and somebody jokes about him getting killed. And the interesting thing is a guy tried to kill him the same night. Don't you see the parallel? Don't you see how this is problematic? that this guy came to kill Trump right after Kimmel made the joke. It's because there's a logic
crazy,
there.
guys.
There's people reiterating and talking about this. It wasn't enough time for Kimmel's joke to transfer to this guy's head to make him kill him that night.
Exactly.
But this is an ongoing scenario where people are continuing to flood the internet with this ideology that's unacceptable. I don't know how you can't get that.
Can I tell a personal
May I respond
story?
to that? Do you mind if I respond to that?
This,
Because I think
yes,
if he asked me a question, I apologize.
You're right.
You asked the question. So yes, again,
Mark, if you respond, and then Jojo, I will come to you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll be real fast. I agree with you that the language and the rhetoric matters. I'm not disagreeing with you. And I didn't say that Trump hadn't been, there was an attempt at Trump's killing before. I was simply saying if Kimmel had done this right after this shooting, it would be in poor taste. Yes, the shooting happened months ago and another shooting happened a year or so ago. I'm with you. I don't like any of the violent language, but it's an off-color joke that I don't think leads to the violence. When you look at the guy's manifesto, when you read why he was outraged, I don't think he's being motivated by political comedians. I think he's being motivated by the political climate. And if we're going to talk about that, then we have to talk about the language that all of us use, Democrats and Republicans. The language we use to talk about Palestinians, the language we use to talk about shithole countries in Africa, the language we use to talk about low IQ politicians. All of it can lead to violence. And guess what? It's not just happening from Democrats. It's happening from everybody. So let's calm it all down, but let's not pretend every time we criticize Trump, we're enabling killers.
No,
okay, Jojo.
I digress.
Yes, I just wanted to say a couple of things. Donald Trump has pardoned and or commuted the sentences of 1,600 plus people who attacked our Capitol on January 6th. They're looking to vacate the criminal convictions of the people who coordinated that attack. But as a personal anecdotal story here, Donald Trump made jokes about Paul Pelosi's attack. Donald Trump has repeatedly made jokes about Paul Pelosi's attack. I'm a mom of two. I'm a single mom of two. About a couple of months after Paul Pelosi's attack, in conjunction with one of Donald Trump's jokes, I got a series of text messages with pictures of my home. And then in short order, I got a phone call from someone who sounded like they were in the car and said to me, "We know you're home. We know your kids are home. We are going to Paul Pelosi you next." That was on the heels of a joke that Donald Trump had made about Paul Pelosi. So please spare me this performative pearl clutching about how it is only people on the left when no one on that side is willing to hold him accountable for jokes like that, for rhetoric like that. I experienced that personally. I had to call my own police department. I had to call the FBI. I had to live in perpetual, and still do, perpetual fear of violence against myself and my children. And Donald Trump owns that. So to pretend that he is above the fray here and that this is the Jimmy Kimmels of the world and it's not landing squarely at his feet, then I'm sorry, but that just doesn't pass the smell test.
There's a difference between.
Hang
on. Yeah, Jack, you go on.
No, I was just saying that I mean, I feel horrible for that. My family's been swatted as well. And the point that we're making is that you should be able then to call for a tone down of the rhetoric on all sides. That's why we're not giving Jimmy Kimmel a pass. Well, you just did give Jimmy Kimmel a pass, and you didn't even condemn the killer himself.
And now Liz, they say they ain't
You're doing a sketch ahead of an event, an event that is notorious for public criticism of the person who is in the executive branch. We're talking two different things. Jimmy Kimmel didn't advocate for somebody to kill Donald Trump. Donald Trump made jokes about Paul Pelosi being hit in the head with a hammer.
See, it's all
partisan.
It's all one.
You're drawing a false equivalency. Why can't you say that Donald Trump was wrong? Was Trump wrong?
You saying Jimmy Kimmel is not wrong, but you saying Donald Trump made a joke.
Exactly. You said
Donald Trump right or wrong? He's the president of the United States of America. He's not a comedian on ABC.
No, do you accept that as a joke?
Was Donald Trump right when he said that Mike Pence should have been hanged? Was Donald Trump right in commuting the sentences of the 1,600 people who had an involvement in an attack on our Capitol? Was Donald Trump right?
Why don't we agree this? Okay, time out. Why don't we agree? Why don't we all try? Hang on, please. Why don't we all try and agree this? Why don't we all agree that when acts of violence or attacks on politicians in particular occur, the first reaction is not to claim because it's the other side it must be staged. And Brandon, I have to say, when Ilhan Omar was sprayed at a recent event with an unknown substance, you said this. Let's take a look.
the bottom line is that I'm looking at this impartially. I don't know what anybody said. I saw the video, and it does not look consistent with someone trying to assault another person, which means I have never in my life seen a person get up, spray something out of syringe at someone's chest. It happened to be nothing inert. And
yeah,
then
and now he's saying what he's saying now.
You didn't see her back away from him. You didn't see her shy away from him. You didn't see any of that
Brendan,
nature.
you would
And the
say,
guy
how
didn't
did
even
this guy
respond.
make it out
Brendan, you would
untouched,
say-
guys?
Brendan,
Let me
you
know.
would-
How did he manage to get
Brendan,
through that?
Brendan, you would say the
Unscathed.
complete opposite if that was a Republican congressman.
That's not true.
Let's go, Pierce.
So that debate we had then, Brandon, I
got
do
you.
think.
He got you there, boy. He got you.
Hang on,
Officer down.
Hang on. Let me handle this, please. Brandon, the point I would make is, as I said then, if it was the other way around, you would say the opposite, and you have. But this happens from everybody. I get loads of people.
No, Pierce.
Is
Let's
it
talk about it.
staged?
Where
Is it not,
have you
guys?
seen me say anything to the contrary to that about a Republican or not? You never heard it. There is clearly it was fake. Do we not know that was fake? He did not squeeze any type of chemical agent on her. Did he or did he not? It was fake. I knew it was fake when I saw it. What do you mean? You said,
Nobody
when did
knew
I know
was
it?
fake.
Because you can see that it's fake. Listen, I have done investigations. Let me explain. I'll let you talk, young lady. Hold on a second. I have done investigations so many times in my career. I've investigated violent crimes. I've looked at surveillance videos. I've done this media stuff for a very long time. When I watch her mannerisms and behavior, I can tell that it's inconsistent with somebody that's being sprayed by a chemical agent, which she don't know if it's dangerous or not. No one would get sprayed by something and then try to attack the attacker.
But here's my point.
What do we find out,
Brandon,
Pierce? What do we find out, Pierce? What do we find out? I was
my point,
correct.
Brandon.
I was correct.
Brandon, here's my point. Here's my point.
We didn't find that out. That's
your natural reaction.
We
Wait a
did
minute.
find it out.
Wait a minute.
He admitted that it was not. It was like sugar water.
Fine,
No,
she
but
didn't
Brandon,
know what it was.
Brandon,
Your natural.
you're implying to the audience that it was proven that it was staged. No, it was proven that there was no chemical in there. It was not a staged event. You may believe that, but there's no evidence that was a staged
use your
event. That's all
common
I'm saying.
sense. Use your common sense. Why would a guy stand up and commit a felony to put sugar water on somebody?
Most definitely. Still did.
Why would a guy?
Why you want? What is sugar water going to do? Mark Lamont Hill. What is sugar water going to do?
I'm answering you. I'm answering you. I have been attacked at events with people who had powder substances. The powder would turn out not to be a chemical. I can assure you I didn't stage it. Sometimes people who are not well do things. Sometimes people do things to intimidate you. Sometimes people do things to create a distraction.
he's saying it may not have been staged, guys.
Officer who does done security. I'm telling you that just because someone doesn't have a chemical agent with them doesn't mean that the person who was the victim staged it. That's all I'm saying.
It does not. You don't have any evidence that it wasn't staged. I'm giving my perspective based on. Hold on, let me finish. I'm giving my perspective based on what I observed.
You said it was proven.
I didn't just make up.
Right, but you said it was proven that it was staged.
No, I said it was
just saying it wasn't proven that it was staged.
I said it was proven that it was sugar water and it wasn't a chemical agent. I said it was proven that it was sugar water, it wasn't a chemical agent, which aligns with what I'm observing when it happened to her. If it was another scenario, because I don't give a flying flip if it's a Republican or a Democrat. If the scenario looked fake, it looked fake. What are we talking about?
A lot of people.
Okay. Let me say something. What we're talking about is that in the moment, Ilhan Omar did not know it was fake. Clearly, it was a scary incident involving a.
How do you know that Ilhan Omar? They have not concluded the investigation into what did Ilhan Omar.
So there you go.
Know
So you're basically saying it's staged. So here's my point, Brandon.
I'm saying that's what I believe it is.
Here's my
He's
point.
doing it.
Here's my point. We've all got to move away. Here's my point. We've got to move past the stage where we view every attack on a politician as
no
Jussie
one
Smollett
believes every
revisited,
attack on a politician.
Right?
I didn't think Pelosi was staged. I didn't think the Pelosi attack was staged. I didn't. If it looks like it's staged, then I'm going to say this is what it looked like. And I gave an articulable reason why. Her behavior, her mannerisms, the fact that he.
But you would never have done. All right, but you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that about a Republican politician.
Where's your evidence that I would have never done
I just don't think
it's a big debate, guys.
Gut instinct that you trust it yourself.
Was it staged? Was it not? Right now, they talking about a different scenario, but still tying it in
people accountable if they're
this
Republicans and they
situation
fake
that went
something.
on. Because it's a diverse, diverse conversation.
I think we should agree.
It wasn't staged.
I think we should agree. I think we should. let me make my point. We should
Okay.
agree. We should agree collectively that we are no longer going to view attacks on politicians if it's someone from the other side, right? People are no longer going to take an immediate position, oh, it must be faked, it must be staged.
Pierce.
And secondly, the jokes about, wait a minute, Brandon, and jokes about political violence or about Trump being dead and his wife being a glowing widow, whatever, given there have been 2 attempts in his life before that joke was made, should be ruled actually unacceptable. That actually it's not funny, nothing that encourages the idea of dead politicians. I was out the other night at the Time 100 gala, and I sat with Senator Mark Kelly and with Gabby Giffords. And I remember when Gabby Giffords got shot and very nearly killed. And it was a reminder to me that political violence, whatever side you're on, is completely unacceptable, and rhetoric about political violence should be completely unacceptable. And I've seen it on both sides.
Here's where I
and I
disagree,
also
Piers.
think calling out attacks and incidents involving politicians where you
Piers.
take a view because it's not your
Piers.
side,
Piers.
I think is wrong.
Piers, your statement
Piers, give me 30
suggests,
seconds. Give me
Piers,
30
your statement
seconds.
suggests that what Jimmy Kimmel did. Piers, what your statement suggests that what Jimmy Kimmel did was make a joke about political violence.
Absolutely.
I understand that some of you are making the
For the
connection
debate,
between the two.
do you
Jimmy
think
Kimmel
that
wasn't
this
joking
situation that went on
that-
with Trump and the assassin
Donald
was
Trump was being
staged, or
assassinated.
do you think
the
it was
joke
real?
once again is that he's old and she wants him to die. I get the other things that you're saying. I just want to be clear for the audience, the
I don't
millions
know
of
if
people
that's
watching
actually the
this.
joke. I actually disagree with you on that because you made a baby
Well,
Hitler
to be
joke.
clear,
too.
well,
We all know
actually,
what
if you
baby
want to be
Hitler
clear,
jokes
but hear me out.
if you want,
Hear me out.
hang on,
But my
hang
point
on.
is, Jimmy, we can
Hang on.
interpret the joke
clear,
differently,
Mark,
but he
to be
didn't make
clear-
a joke about political violence.
To be
That's
clear,
all I'm
Mark,
saying.
Mark, last time, okay, Mark, one question. Have you spoken to Jimmy Kimmel? Do you know that's what he meant?
No, I'm telling you how I interpreted the joke. I'm saying the joke did not include any commentary.
That
about
may be
political
what he
violence.
do, but that
We're
ain't what I
interpreting the
do.
joke,
All right.
but it would be inaccurate
are
as
assuming-
journalists to suggest that the joke.
I'm listening for the debate,
as
man.
are you.
Assuming that's what
As
he
are
meant.
you.
Because that picture running
Yeah.
through them Secret
But you're
Service
assuming
just
that
don't
you're
add up to me,
assuming
and
that
then you don't get not one
Piers,
straight.
Piers, Piers, you're moving the goalpost. No,
And I can tell you,
Piers, you're
I
moving.
can tell
You're
you-
moving the goalpost.
No,
You're moving the goalpost.
I'm going to
Piers.
say to you.
No, you are.
I'm going to say to you.
Because
If Greg,
this is what I'm
hang
saying.
on.
No,
Hang on.
You're
If
misrepresenting my
if
point.
Greg
You're
Gutfeld, wait a
misrepresenting my
minute.
point.
Shut up. Shut up. If Greg Gutfeld
You don't have to tell me to
had
shut
said
up. You
that
can just.
on Fox
I'll wait.
News
There's a time delay. Okay, relax.
Just stop shouting. All right, fine. I've told you to stop talking, and you refused. Right?
Yeah.
I'm still the moderator of this show. If
There's a time
Greg
delay, Piers.
Gutfeld
I'm
had said
not
the same-
interrupting you. There's a time delay.
Okay, you are hearing me repeatedly say, "Please stop talking." Correct? if Greg Gutfeld had said
All
the
of
same
them trying to
joke
get their points out.
about, say, the Bidens,
Absolutely.
I don't think you'd have raced to defend the comedian in the way that you're racing to defend Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think any of it is acceptable. Stop
They're
joking
making
about
good points, though.
politicians dying or being killed. Stop questioning and querying that they're staged when they're obviously not, and stop glorifying in rhetoric political violence at all. I think they would be three really good starting places for
May I
how we try
respond
to
now?
move on.
He say stop saying they staged, then they
Let me
not.
ask a question.
Let me respond now. May I now respond, Piers?
And then I want to talk about Gutfeld.
First,
Yes.
You move. When I say you move the goalpost, my point wasn't that my interpretation of the joke was right and your interpretation of the joke was wrong. What I'm saying is, as a matter of fact, the joke did not include a reference to political violence. You're saying that that's how you took it. I'm saying I didn't take it that way. I'm okay with either interpretation, but I was simply correcting you as a matter of fact that the joke didn't include political violence. Number two, I worked on Red Eye at Fox News. No. I worked on Red Eye with Greg Gutfeld for years on Fox News, and we made numerous jokes about Obama, some of which included jokes about the first black president being shot. So again, you are objectively wrong. So I'm going to ask you, now that I have corrected the record and shown you that I've worked with Greg Gutfeld on Red Eye at Fox News and that we made jokes about Obama dying that were made by me, can you at least acknowledge that you're wrong?
Dang.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You also said that the protesters
How
should
many
have their
times was
names
Obama
and
And on that
addresses
bombshell,
released
that was intense.
On that
should
dramatic-
make their lives
On that,
Like,
wait a minute.
Gutfeld
On
was
that
the wrong
dramatic
person to pick.
bombshell, we have sadly run out of time. I appreciate the panel and the passions are running high. I just think we all have to kill it. We all have, well, that's fair enough too. We have to collectively work to lower the temperature. So shut up.
So basically, they had a great debate, guys, on whether or not this whole situation was staged or not. There are things that don't add up, even to me. You know what I'm saying? I just, You know, I just feel how I feel. Is there something about him running through there and not and actually shooting a Secret Service officer and then not getting shot when he got like 5 of them shooting at him? It's just something about it. So.
Tell me what happened.
Yeah, I was right across the table from Dylan. You know, Katie, at first, of course, it was confusion. You hear loud thumps, didn't know what they were. I thought that was normal. And then you just see a sea of
She's
people
talking about
rushing
being
to
at
get
the
under
ballroom,
tables.
guys.
You see Secret Service running down the aisles, climbing on the dais, rushing away the president and the vice president. And so it was chaos at the beginning with a lot of confusion. And in getting back to your point, in moments like that, a lot of misinformation and a lot of questions of what happened start to develop, especially online by people who weren't in the room. So, you know, it was definitely a moment that was not necessarily expected for that night specifically, but perhaps should have been as these threats of political violence just continue, Katie.
There's also a certain, well, there's twofold here. There's a question I want to ask Dylan about an experience he had right afterwards. But Sam, I first want to talk to you about maybe the desire for people to want to believe that this is staged, to want to believe that these things
There's a lot of
really
people that
happening,
feel that
there's
way.
some ulterior motive at hand. Everything's a cover-up for the Epstein files. This is just another version of a cover-up. This one to distract from the Iran war, or the economy, or sagging poll numbers. Is part of this fueled by just what people want?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right? You don't want to confront uncomfortable truths in certain cases. It's a lot easier to just sort of duck the idea that I don't know, your approximate political ideology or some online source produced something. I'm not saying this specifically.
What's up, Kate?
You just say, well, it's got to be actually the opposite. It's got to be all conspiracy. This, you know, we see it in this case. You see it most recently. Like, for instance, a good example of this is the J6 pipe bombing situation, where forever it was, you know, the right wing was saying, well, this must have been a falsified plan designed to get law enforcement into the crowd to frame these J6ers. And it turns out the guy was a Trump voter who wanted to create chaos that day. And so, you know, it is a way to avert having to take some blame in both directions. And then I would just add to your point, you know, the internet's not helping here, right? I don't know if you were just scrolling on Twitter in the aftermath of this on Saturday.
So the internet ain't helping.
It was a cesspool. It really was. Like the For You stuff was just basically all conspiracies and political attacks and very little actual credible
People just want to know how he made it through there. What's up, Lady
Our
Swag?
algorithms are rewarding irresponsible behavior in a lot of cases, and that feeds this disinformation environment. And in this case, in these acute moments, it's a frenzy, really.
Sam, it's not even just the internet. I mean, I saw that. What struck me most, because there's a part of you that can just say, well, that's the internet, and who knows, it's bots, and it's a corner of the country. I was texting with my friends, very smart people, very
And they didn't
educated.
believe it either.
And they were questioning it. And they were
See?
talking to me, a journalist. My husband was in the room. And I was telling them
Right.
what happened. And they were still questioning it and
So a lot of people feel like it was fake, guys.
doubting it. We've gone from being a critical country to a skeptical country.
How
now
did he
to a
make it through
country
there? I'm still trying to
of
figure out how he made it through there,
denialists.
man.
I
And
think
didn't
part of
get
it is
hit
this
not
feeling
one time.
of being out
Didn't
of
get hit
control.
not one time.
Like the world is moving so fast. So much is happening. Donald Trump or politics, AI, all this stuff is happening to us, not with our input or support. And it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You know, I think normally well-grounded people are sort of getting taken away with some of the stuff. I think if you just look in the broader media ecosystem, it probably does feed that. And the internet is, of course, a component of that, but it's not to blame for everything. And I do think a lot of it is just people feeling like they need answers, or that the things that are happening in their lives can only be explained through sort of the nefarious forces operating in the dark, and that we're just not really grasping the whole picture. Either way, it's pretty dark, it's uncomfortable, and it makes it really hard for people who are committed to trying to find fact and truth to come to break through that ecosystem, because you're right. It's not just whack jobs on the internet or people who spend all day on their computers. It's people who normally otherwise would not believe this stuff.
Yeah. It's a crisis of institutional trust, both on the federal government scale, but also with journalists and media. And Dylan, I know you cover this. The experience that you talked about online of going to a bar in D.C. right after this, I just thought was shocking, because it says a lot about where we are as a country when something big happens. Tell me what happened.
Man, it's just...
Yeah, sure. Look,
you got to make it make sense. That's all I'm saying.
We've done our fair share of time in Washington, and we know that if you're in a bar in downtown Washington, historically, there's usually one television tuned to CNN or Fox News or MS Now. And we went, I think searching for some terra firma after leaving the Hilton. Some colleagues went down to one of these bars and asked if we could change the channel to watch the news so we could see the president's press conference. Didn't seem like too big of an ask in light of a shooter attempting to enter a room with not only the president and the vice president, but many of the most powerful cabinet members, business executives, dignitaries, and like the leading journalists, political journalists in the country. We got it for all of 2 minutes before we were informed that you actually couldn't, there was a rule in the restaurant against watching political content. And by the way, over the course of the last 24 hours, I have heard from people who said they've heard that same rule in other bars, in airport lounges, that people just don't want to show political content. And it certainly didn't seem like anyone in that room really wanted to watch the president of the United States address what was very likely an attempted assassination against him. And I just thought, like, the Hilton, it's known in DC as the Hinckley Hilton because, of course, it's the same place back in 1981 where Hinckley fired shots at Reagan. And I have to imagine
President Reagan.
That back in the day, CNN, which had just been founded, and the broadcast networks, all of which broke into special coverage, that was wall to wall across the city, and that it was a shared moment. And one thing that is happening amid the lack of trust and
he managed to make it through there and not get hit up after shooting the agent. I'm stunned.
Of media online, which has also led to a fragmentation of media, which is part and parcel of a fragmentation.
I'm
of
stunned.
culture.
You hear me?
Is that we are just tuning out the news, and news has never been more intense. Political violence has never been more intense. Geopolitics has never been more intense. The changes in technology have never been more intense, and yet it seems like that sort of monoculture feeling where we can all come together and be like, hey, it's pretty crazy that a shooter just got tackled at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. That's something we all experienced on Saturday night. I don't think it's something that by and large the rest of the country took a lot of time to watch or think about.
Yeah, part of it is also just how frequently giant stories happen. I mean, Leanne, you can attest to this. You've been covering this.
It's something happening every other day.
Of politics now, and all of us have since Donald Trump took the stage.
Trump a lucky man.
It predates him, but we can focus on just the last 11 years. I mean,
Trump a lucky man.
A giant story.
They're gonna try to take him out more than any other president.
Every other week, Venezuela or war in Iran, Epstein files, losing access to the Obamacare subsidies. I mean, there are these giant stories that would have sustained a news cycle for weeks, months on end, and instead now they're happening every other week. There's a certain, you can't keep up with it. It's all so noisy that you can't hear any one thing any longer, and so it's very easy to just tune it all out.
Yeah, the news cycle moves so quickly, Katie, obviously, that what's interesting is it's not even impacting the public, where it's interesting to see what actually breaks through, because there are so many news stories, the stuff that trickles down that actually reaches the consciousness. It's fascinating talking to political operatives even about the war in Iran. We were 3-4 weeks in, and operatives on the right and the left, Democrats and Republicans, they were saying that it hasn't fully yet reached the consciousness of the public. And so they're still watching the polling very, very carefully, but that it took so long for it to really break through, for people to understand what was happening. And so that's just one example of a major news story that in the noise was even hard for people to understand and comprehend and to really tune into, because there is so much. Now, this is part of the president's strategy from a logistical standpoint. Yes, it's cultural. Yes, we don't have a lot of attention span, but also from a tactical standpoint, the flood the zone is something that the White House does very effectively and very purposefully in order to make it hard for people to understand what's happening. And even members of Congress can't even keep up with their staffs.
I mean, and
Hold on. Yeah, man. But a lot of people, we ain't the only people that feel like this thing is staged, guys. There's a lot of people that feel exactly the way that we feel, you know. And I'm feeling like it just didn't add up to a lot of people. Like that thing that stood out to me with him running through there. I just, for the life of me, can't figure out how he didn't get hit, not one time. They fired back at him, some of the top shooters in the world. You know what I'm saying? It just, and you make it through there without getting, with not a stain on you. It's just crazy. Yeah, that's just crazy. Maybe it's just me. It might just be me.
This department is continuing to build its case against the man accused of opening fire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in D.C. The suspect, Cole Allen, appearing in federal court today for the first time. It comes after investigators searched his home in Southern California over the weekend. Fox's Sarah Legre live in Torrance, California tonight. And Sarah, what are we learning about him?
Well, hey there, Jason. We're just outside his home here in Torrance, California.
So those
just
feelings not
and learning
facts,
a little
okay?
bit more about his past. You know, you see that blue scooter behind me. That's the one that he drove each and every day to and from school, it looks like, to his tutoring that he did with students in middle school and high school. But I want to take you to Saturday. It was a very different scene than what's behind me. You know, federal agents, they stormed the area shortly after that attack in D.C. Then comes Sunday, where they conducted that search warrant, going inside of the home, talking to parents. This is who Cole Allen lives with. Again, just trying to piece together more information about the moments that led up to that attack. Now, moving forward here, asking ourselves, who is this suspect? You know, we believe, according to his LinkedIn page, it seems connected. He graduated from Caltech in 2017 with that degree in mechanical engineering. We know
This
he
just
was involved
was
in a campus Christian
off the
fellowship
wall
most
anyway. Though.
recently.
It just got me stuck from earlier. I'm still
Science, but
trying to
investigators say
process
his
it.
online
Okay.
presence, it tells us something different. Posting anti-Trump content. We also know about that manifesto as well. So talking to people here in the community who even knew the family this news Saturday, the actions very surprising to them.
How could this happen? I mean, people in our neighborhood genuinely get along despite differences. And, you know, then it was just empathy towards the family. Because frankly, you know, their life's about to make a huge change. And, you know, the individual who did this, he's going to need to have his day in court. It's heartbreaking.
And this wasn't spur of the moment. I mean, this was thought out. Investigators say Allen left California by train. Unlike air travel, train security, a little less restrictive, fewer security screenings. He stopped in Chicago, then continued on to D.C., where he checked into that Washington Hilton hotel the day before the attack. And that's where authorities say he rushed that Secret Service checkpoint Saturday evening, armed with several weapons. We know a Secret Service officer was shot. Agents, though, moved in quickly, reacting, stopping Allen, taking him down into custody before he reached the ballroom. Now, earlier today, the DOJ saying the president, along with members of his cabinet, likely the intended targets here based on what Allen had written in that manifesto.
Make no mistake, he says, I am targeting the administration officials. They are my targets, and I'm prioritizing from the top down, the highest ranking from the lowest. And I will not hesitate to get involved in any kind of encounter with anyone who blocks me from the president.
Investigators say he also legally purchased 2 firearms here in the state of California, a shotgun along with a handgun. Again, weapons that he brought with him across state lines into that hotel Saturday night in Washington, D.C. Jason, obviously a day meant to celebrate journalism, freedom of speech as well, ending with shots fired.
Yeah. And a train ride all the way out there cross country. All right, Sarah Legre, thank you very much in Torrance.
It's crazy,
Pennsylvania
guys.
Senator John Fetterman is weighing in after that shocking shooting tied to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Fetterman telling Sean Hannity on Hannity Tonight that security failures put attendees at risk while voicing support for President Trump's proposed ballroom plan as a safer alternative.
We need to have a secure facility for events just like this. We can't ever allow to be exposed in that way to an attack. That hotel was never designed to do that in a safe way. When I witnessed that night.
Fetterman says the incident.
So a lot of people are saying Trump did this to get his ballroom built.
Scores the need to rethink event security at high-profile gatherings in Washington. And happening now, severe storms and wildfires.
We are not talking about no storms. Yeah, they talking about something else. I just want to show that, but I'm still, in between, whether or not, this whole situation is real or not. You know what I'm saying? It's just something about them. It's something about him being able to make it through there that it just don't sit right with me for some reason. I feel like he should have got touched at least once, considering that he shot one of the officers with a shotgun. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's how I feel about it. Hold on real quick. Yeah. All right, hold up. The internet does the fool, guys. The internet is going to do what the internet is going to do. Check this out. When it comes to this entire situation, this is somebody's rendition of how they felt about what was going on.
What the fuck is this Israeli magician talking about? Will he shut the fuck up already? Any minute now. Come on, I need this ballroom. Where's the damn assassin? Finally. Works every time.
Come on, Spider Cash. Now's your time to shine. Fuck, I can't do it. Not tonight. Not tonight.
Don't look at her. Do not look at her, Bobby. I'm finally free. This is it. Sweet freedom.
Butter chicken, tikka masala, biryani, naan, samosa, tandoori chicken, curry, dal vindaloo, palak paneer.
Crazy, huh? Yeah, man. I thought that was just too funny. I was cracking up when I found it, guys. That's just crazy. But a lot of people feel like it was staged, guys. Some people feel like it was real. Some people feel like it was staged. Hey, man, I'm not making anybody think anything. You feel free to feel however you want to feel. Me, it's just something about him being able to run through there that just got me confused. You know what I'm saying? It just got me confused, guys. But we most definitely walked it down, man. Some of the conspiracies that's out there when it comes to this situation, as in it could have been staged, or some people feel like this was done in an attempt to get Trump's ballroom built. But either way you look at it, it most definitely happened. Cole Allen storms the hotel, guys, run past the Secret Service, shoot one of them in the chest, and then miraculously he doesn't have not a scar on him, guys. He made it all the way out of there, man. He made it all the way out. Well, as far as all the way out of there without being unalive, but not out of there because they tackled him at the other end of the walkway right there. But either way, shout out to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I most definitely will see y'all later on. Y'all take care. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you're new over here, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't double tapped that screen, double tap it. That's how you hit the like button. It helps out the channel. Shout out to the people that rock with me tonight. I wasn't even supposed to be on. I just came over here because it was just something about him being able to get through there that just had me like, So I presented it to y'all, man. But either way, man, shout out to the old subscribers, the new subscribers. Shout out to all of my members, the new ones as well as the old ones. And most definitely shout out to my moderators for keeping this chat running smooth. And with that being said, Sidewalk Gang, checking out. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Y'all be good. Gone.